just open it on the web.
Oh, cool. I'm just dropping all the frames. Ages. But it's probably just like, wait a minute, you still do this? Hold on, I forgot.
You did a lot of streams, I think. I think a little bit of a break makes sense.
Yeah, like I was gonna stream some stuff over the break. But I think my brain was just done. I think it was just like, you know what? I can't. Like, I'm just gonna turn my brain off and do a whole bunch of nothing.
It's really nice to do that, as it turns out.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. It's good. It's a good time for all, I think.
I was like, I can't believe Polly had a month off and like played no games.
I just needed time away from it entirely. Just like engaging with media, like trying to build up a stack of media to talk about.
Yeah.
Like I was just, no, I'm not here for it. But then like, some good stuff rolled in. And I was just like, I gotta play that. That looks good. And then I played it, and then now I'm gonna talk about it.
That's what we do.
That's what we do here. It turns out.
I know.
It's It's funny how that works, isn't it?
Break treated me really right. I'm feeling a lot better.
Good.
I was really neurotic at the end of the year.
Yeah, like I think, yeah, I could sense that. I think we were all maybe a little bit off kilter. We were all a little bit off kilter by the end of the year, I think.
I was still like off for like 4 or 5 days when I got to my mom's, and I was just like, it was like 4 or 5 days of like still being anxious and tense and like, oh god,
yeah,
oh god.
I was definitely
switch just flipped.
Like it took me probably a week to actually get into, oh, okay, I can just chill now. It's fine. I can just turn off.
Actually relax.
Yeah, like it took a while. Raven is super off kilter. No kilter at all, says Raven. 0 kilter.
Oh yeah. TV, I can look at the chat too.
Yeah, we do these with the chat room now. Cool, we're dropping frames. I don't care though. Yeah, it's dropping real bad. There we go. There's that 0 frames. There's that 0 bits per second. Whatever. Twitch has been awful lately. So, it's to be expected. It's to be expected.
All the cool girls stream on YouTube now.
That's what I hear. We
just gotta get you a little avatar.
Yeah. But dude, like we could rig up a pretty easy stick poly avatar in live 2D, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. If any character is going fantastic. To be pretty fucking easy.
Yeah. So I like, man, I got the easiest rigging job for anybody out there that wants to do it. But something that made me laugh was somebody was talking about how like they do the VTuber thing, and they were talking about they were ordering at the drive-thru at McDonald's the other day, and they noticed that while they were doing so, they were moving their head in very exaggerated manners because you have to do that to make live 2D models work right. And they were like, God, I hope those things don't have cameras because I probably looked like an idiot.
That's funny.
It really is. Like, look, man. Like, I would totally do. I would fucking totally do a fucking. If I rigged up a live 2D stick poly. A live 2D stick poly, I would absolutely do it.
So good.
It would be so fucking funny.
That's so good.
Oh, it would be amazing. Oh, God. Good times. Good times.
Life is good.
Exactly. Life is fantastic.
Is it? Is it?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's great. We got out of 2020, and then January 1st, everything turned great again.
Everything's totally fine and
Everything's
normal right now.
It's totally fine and okay. There's nothing. What insurrection? What are you talking about?
Nothing to concern. It's fine.
Nothing is doing me a concern whatsoever. Oh man, it's good. Yeah, just all in all good stuff, man.
Mm-hmm. Just good vibes.
Good vibes forever.
Uh-huh. Eat a pod pie, listen to a mooncast.
There you go. That's exactly how this goes. So
Raven says, "Oh gosh, Polly, please let me donate to your GoFundMe."
Just because we haven't done this for a month doesn't mean that everybody else doesn't have this figured out for us. See, they know how it goes.
Mm-hmm. And we do too. We are experts at podcasting, and especially at intros.
I do believe
that I did that.
I think John did it! John! Congratulations! You just helped us transition in. You just transitioned us right into the introduction of Sockscast episode 130. Welcome to the brand new podcasting year, everybody. It's an all new season here at the show. As you can see, we've got a new set. We've got new costumes. It's so great. We're gonna have a whole new theme song. I heard that they're getting both Slipknot and Guns N' Roses to do it for us. So that's gonna be wild. I can't wait to hear what that sounds like.
And then Slipknot does the intro, and then both Slipknot and Guns N' Roses collab to write the separate ending theme.
Yeah, like it's gonna be great. Like you guys. You won't believe the incredible year of podcast content we have in store for you. It's just you're out of your mind. We've got celebrity guests coming in. John's dad's going to stop by. He's going to say hi. That's all he's going to do. He's just going to say hi. But it'll be great. It'll be great. That'll be for the patron. That'll be the patron exclusive bonus, though. Yeah, when we get that started and kicked. Oh, by the way, we've got a Patreon now. You can go donate to that. The $500 tier means you get an extra episode a week. So,
oh boy,
bring it on! Bring it on! I am, of course, kidding.
We just make one episode for like one.
You get really one episode. You get one episode, one extra week. Make sure I'll have to edit and make sure that my verbiage is very clear on that.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, like we're here, we're getting settled back into doing this. I think like we've been away from this for so long, we might have forgotten how this works. Like I forgot what half of these levers do. There's a button here that just says pie. I don't know what that does. I assume it gives me a pie. I don't know.
Why don't you hit and find out?
No. We are live. I'm not taking any chances.
Rhett, no. If you absolutely under no circumstances press the pie button.
Not live. Not while you're live. Oh man, but I do have good news. We've cruised into 2021 on at least a somewhat good note. Because when we were last together, and this was before the Game of the Year stuff. So this is all the way back in the heady days of December 6th, 2020. We during our break we came across a big piece of news that was very important, especially to me. And that was the news that Doritos 3D, they were coming back, baby. January 18th was the date we were given in that article. They said, hey, but guess what? Doritos did us solid. Sooner than expected. Because the original date, like I said, it was supposed to be January 18th, but I feel like Doritos, I feel like they knew. I feel like they've got some incredible clairvoyance. I feel like they knew that they'd need to butter us up with something really good before all hell decided to break loose again.
They knew that it's been a challenging year.
They knew that it's been a challenging year, and they knew that we were going to need something good going into this first week of January. Doritos 3D are back. I would like to report that they're fantastic. I have had two party-sized bags.
Oh.
And they're very, very good. I'm very happy with my perch. I can't find them anymore. They're just sold out everywhere now. They're just sold out everywhere now. And, like, everybody else is telling me, like, they can't even get them. So I guess I just need to count my blessings here. I feel like this is a very special event that the cosmos aligned to have happened just for me. So I can at least be happy that I got my 2 big bags of Doritos 3D. They're gone now, unfortunately. But if that's all that I get, I have to be thankful. Right?
What if they're just gone again?
What if they're
for
just
another
gone
20
again?
years?
Like that would, you know what? It's divine providence if that's the case.
They're coming back in 2041.
I just have to think that it's divine providence. That's the only assumption I can make at this point. But welcome. We're here to do a podcast, so I guess we should start kind of getting into that. To my immediate virtual right, squash his head and put him in the pot. It's Rhett.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
You
know, you said we cruised into 2021. I'm thinking more like we coasted into 2021.
We sputtered across the finish line.
It's like when in a racing game when you run out of time.
Yeah.
But you keep that momentum going and you hit the checkpoint and I've got 30 more seconds. Okay, and then you start accelerating again.
Except like not an outrun though. An outrun, as soon as that timer's done, fuck it, you're stopped.
Yeah,
fuck out. Get the fuck out of here.
That's one of those bad game feel moments.
Yeah, that feels real bad. But Rad Racer, though. Rad Racer.
Yeah.
They let you cruise, and you get that cool sound like when you're in cruise mode. And when you cross that fucking checkpoint in cruise mode, coolest fucking feeling in the world.
That might be the first racing game I ever played, honestly.
I think it might have been, yeah. I can't think of any other racing games I might have played before Rad Racer. No, wait, no. I played Mach Rider. I played Mach Rider before Rad Racer.
I saw somebody say like,
I thought Rad Racer was fun. Oh no, that's an S game, duh.
What Square game do you think should get the Final Fantasy VII remake treatment? And somebody says Rad Racer.
Rad Racer.
Like, fucking hell yeah.
Yes.
Just put $100 million into a Rad Racer remake.
I'm here for it. Like, do that shit up like Burnout Paradise or some shit. But just keep it as an arcade racer.
Yeah.
Don't don't do the open world stuff, but just like blow it out in the same kind of way. Like maybe one of those Forza games, Forza Horizons, where it's just ridiculous. Blow it out like that. That'd be incredible. Rhett, are you ready for 2021 in podcasting?
I can't believe we've done 130 of these.
We've done 130
how many game of the years? I was just like kind of floored.
Yeah, this is going to be...
We've been doing this now?
We've been doing this for a long time now. And yeah, like
we have to stop at 10 years, unfortunately. Turns out it's in the contract.
It's in the contract. But we still got a number of years to go before then. So there's still juice in the tank. Like if it lines up the same way that episode 100 did, and it being our 5-year anniversary, then 10 years should line up with episode 200. So we've at least got 70 episodes left.
Okay.
That's good. To my immediate virtual left, he's just a squirrel trying to get a nut. It's John Thayer.
Hello.
Hey!
Or wait, no. Fuck, I fucked it up. No, it's hi.
Oh, damn. Well, that's it. Oh. That's a bad omen. This year's flat. Well, fuck. It's gonna be terrible.
The new John for a new year.
New John, new year. There you go.
I don't know. Hello. It's pretty nice. I like that one.
Maybe like we all change things a little bit. Yeah. There you go.
An alternate.
It's a new old.
Yeah, I'm here for that.
John. Yeah. All right, John. You're here for 2021 and podcasting and all that good stuff, right?
I'm drumming my fingers, anxiously waiting for the full remake of 3D World Runner.
Oh man,
Anaglyphic 3D.
They're gonna do it like that Panzer Dragoon Orta. It's gonna be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
They're just gonna remake 3D World.
Level.
They're just gonna remake 3D World Runner, but then they're just gonna fucking make Space Harrier out of it instead.
3D World Runner.
They're going to cancel Final Fantasy 16 and make 3D World
and
Runner.
make 3D World Runner.
Okay, but what if 3D VR World Runner?
Oh God.
There is something that could be done with the IP.
That man, like, why aren't they on that? Why haven't they gotten on that?
Because literally only I care.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I like the chat and Tom made the same joke.
Even fucking Half-Life couldn't really get people to give a shit about VR.
Yeah.
Yep.
Remember,
they released Half-Life 3 and nobody cared VR.
Yeah, a new Half-Life game came out last year.
Granted,
kind of bad timing.
Yeah. I saw that, like, mentioned the other day, and I realized I had completely forgotten about Half-Life Alyx. Like, it just... Like, I knew that it released, obviously, but it had just been such a nothing burger to my mind due to the fact that it's just a VR game. It's like, does anybody really know what that game is? Did anybody actually play it? I don't see it on any end-of-the-year lists or anything. It's just kind of a fart in the wind at this point.
Was it on PlayStation VR, Rhett?
No,
it's just Valve only. That's the thing, so I can't even play it.
All right, cool.
Damn. What a weird... Man, games are so weird now!
Games are so weird now. It's great.
Alright, but you know what else is weird? Us having a podcast, which is not weird, but I had no other way to transition from that to say that we need to get a move on. So who wants to do it? Who wants to be the one to pop?
Yeah, I think John definitely wants this.
John wants to pop the cherry on 2021 and get us started. All right, John, you are the beacon. You are the one setting the course for 2021. Get us started. What are we talking about today?
Can I do a prediction?
You can do a prediction.
Okay, so this is the first game John is going to talk about this year.
Mm-hmm.
This may be the last game John is going to talk about at the end of the year.
Interesting. Okay, let's go with that.
Well, I got a bunch of cute gifts from friends on Christmas, like a bunch of us did, that made me very happy.
Mm-hmm.
I did not pre-prepare a list of all the friends, so I can thank them, but I will. I'll just say the ones that I've played.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, the one I've got to talk about. Rhett did give me a copy of Case 00, the Cannibal Boy, on Steam.
God, I forgot about this.
With the note, "Dear John, I'm helping you protect your brand."
Yeah.
This is like a $1 VN. That's by a company that by a little group that makes has made a couple other VNs and a couple RPG Maker games. And I'm glad I put it the other ones. I kind of want to get to them at some point and see, because they form like a series. But this is just like a 30-minute VN. I don't think there's any choices. It's just a light little horror story with like a couple twists. That I think it's just kind of a spooky story, like a campfire story, in a way that I thought was cute.
And cannibalism. You gotta have the cannibalism.
Yes. It was not particularly lurid.
No.
It did get gay at one point.
Okay, that's good. Here for that.
I know. So I'm interested in seeing what more of them do. And obviously, secondarily, I got gifted a copy of the Doujin Shmup Hellsinker from 2007.
Man. Oh God, Hellsinker. I saw somebody play this back in 2012 and my eyes glazed over. Cause oh boy, there's John, what the fuck is Hellsinker? Because I know that it's supposed to be a shmup. But when I saw this game in action in 2012, I was very confused. So what the fuck is this?
The updated Steam release has a tutorial, just for the record. Mm-hmm. They added that in, which I thought was nice. I got gifted this by both Narf and Zelaz, so thank you both. And then like they overlapped each other because that happened a lot this year for some reason.
Yeah, they had a
that's more and more common. Yeah.
Both friends,
and then they make you choose.
Oh man, who do you love more? Who do you love more?
Who do you refuse the gift from? So all I knew about this game was that it was super confusing. Just like really confusing though. Like just like really funny in how confusing it was. Because you look at it and there's a bunch of bars on the left and right side of the screen. Like if you just look at a screenshot, it's pretty dense. It's pretty scary.
Yeah.
So first off, the right side of the screen is almost all scoring stuff. So that's like stuff that you already don't necessarily need to care about just to play the game. I figured a lot of that out later on when I was trying to think carefully about how I wanted to get my extends later.
Mm-hmm.
But you do not have to understand like basically anything on the right side of the screen to play the game. And then the meters on the left side are basically just your main weapon strength, your sub-weapon strength, your bombs, and your number of lives, how many life pieces you need to get a life. They just have a bunch of jargon.
There's nothing in this game that is called what it should be.
Except life.
Except life.
Life is just called life. So soul is, if you just have it up, soul is your main weapon strength. Luna is your sub-weapon strength. Stella is the rank.
Oh my god.
So it just shows you what your rank is. And you can raise and lower your rank depending on things.
Mm.
There's a number of games that show the rank. So like it goes from 1 to A.
Yep.
And then there's Terra at the bottom. And this... Okay, stick with me here. Terra, it starts at 240 and it goes down when you basically make mistakes. And once it hits 0, that triggers the bonus stage.
Is it a bonus stage or a penalty stage? Because it sounds like it's a penalty stage.
If you do badly at the bonus stage, you can technically lose points.
Right.
But it does not take a lot of practice to get to the point where it does not take a lot of practice to get to the point where you can break even easily, and then from there, like double your points.
Yeah.
So generally, you want your Terra. You can also farm a lot of extends in the bonus stage. So generally, you want to hold that off until near the end, so that you can go into the last levels with a full max health with max lives.
But you can't fight the true last boss if you go to the forbidden level, though, right?
No, you can. No. You have to. No matter what, after the 7th level, you go to the bonus stage.
Okay.
So
before that,
okay, possible generally.
Okay, because I read the manual and it's weird.
It's crystal clear.
Absolutely.
The manual explains everything perfectly. I still don't necessarily understand how you get spirit, which are the main points. I'm still kind of trying to figure that one out because some people are like, I hit a spirit breakthrough after the first level, and I'm like,
it has to do with sealing, I guess, because the blue number goes up when you're sealing, and the blue number is how many spirits you get if you destroy the enemy. But I've only ever seen that number pop up when enemies are sealed.
This is representative of the Hellsinker experience, because that was 5 minutes of jargon. That was 5 straight minutes of being completely impenetrable and probably tedious for us to listen to.
Right.
But you get past that point, and then you're suddenly you basically just play it for like 30 minutes, play it for like an hour, and then it just clicks, and suddenly you're just playing an action game. And once you get to that point,
the impression that I got, Rhett gifted me this, but unfortunately, it for some reason does not like my hardware, so I could not play it. But the impression that I got is like, oh, this is just like Devil May Cry the shmup, because the bullet hell aspects are not really like, it looks like a bullet hell shmup, but you have so many tools at your disposal for canceling bullets that's really just not what this game is about. It's about knowing how the characters work.
Yes, I would say that's accurate, because like almost every obstacle in this game, it actually says straight up in the manual, if you have to micro dodge bullets, you're probably doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally like you want to figure out how to break every obstacle,
Yeah.
essentially. I think you say Devil May Cry. I think I would compare it with like Treasure stuff.
That's I kind of put Treasure and DMC and that kind of stuff on the similar.
Yeah. I think both of those are good comparisons where it's like it's kind of a cliche to be like, oh, it's really a puzzle game, but the goal is to figure out like how to approach each of these set pieces in such a way, because they can often seem overwhelming, but if you just use the tools that you have, then you can make them not overwhelming, basically.
Yeah. And every character has a lot of tools.
Every character has a lot of tools. I use Deadlier, the main guy, because he has swords, and I like swords. I like using swords and shmups. I found out that Yomu apparently has basically the same vocabulary as Deadlier, and I need to play as Yomu in more of these games. But so he has a sword. You tap your attack button to shoot, and then you hold it to charge up a sword slash. And then if you hold it for like a second, it'll make a little sound, and then you can do a powerful sword slash. If you slash right in front of you, it won't deal basically any damage at all. But there's a reticle in front of you. And if you get an enemy and hit your sword right there, then it deals a lot of damage. So with Deadlier, you're basically going up at the top of the screen, being ready to deploy your sword at exactly the right opportunity to just decimate a big group of enemies all at once, and then avoid their bullets.
Yeah.
And also when you're close to an enemy, it won't shoot bullets, and there's no contact damage. Bullets are the only thing that kill you. Which I think is neat.
That's always cool in games like this, like when enemies don't have hitboxes.
So the goal is with Deadlier at least, the goal is to play just really aggressively, just to get up in the enemy's faces, be near the top of the screen, and just decimate the enemy loadouts. And then you can't do that a lot of times, and then you have to retreat, and then you have to think of a new approach. And it's very, very satisfying to puzzle out all the different obstacles, because that's an additional thing about Hellsinker, is that it has that intensely varied. And you also have an option that you can aim and drop at a relative distance in front of you or to anywhere around you. And that'll just deal constant damage to whatever it touches. So I would usually put that like a little bit ahead in front of my sword reticule and like jump up and down so that hitting stuff with the option, but you can put it behind you, to the side, depending on the circumstances. But yeah, the deal with the coolest thing about Hellsinker, I think, is that it has just an intense variety of different set pieces, and I think that's another point where the Treasure comparison kind of makes sense, because it gets just outrageous in how inventive it is in concocting different action set pieces. It is just kind of constantly, once you get especially into the later levels, it is sort of constantly throwing stuff at you that I'm just like, I didn't know shmups could do this. Like it plays a lot with scrolling in different directions. There's a straight up level 5 is just a straight up welcome to the machine level. I have never played another shmup that has a welcome to the machine level. It made me very happy.
That's kind of, that's insane.
Yep. You know how in stage 4 of Imperishable Night, you're in the middle of the boss fight and then the boss runs away and then you like chase her down while fighting regular enemies.
Yeah.
That's good shit.
So yeah, the coolest shit in the world. Hellsinker is full of moments like that where it plays with structure. Like where there's a boss in the middle of the stage, there's no boss at all. There's a boss and then another boss. It keeps you on your toes. It never lets you feel, and I think Devil May Cry, that is also comparable with that, where each stage doesn't necessarily have like a clearly defined shape.
That's one shape for the year 2021.
Shape of the new year.
Fuck off. to me, that was kind of the most exciting thing playing through it, was just continuously being surprised, because there's the main game is 8 levels plus the bonus level. There are 3 alternate versions of levels 1 through 3 that you unlock at a certain point, so that you can play basically harder, varied levels where you can get more points, which is also nice, because right at the point where you're starting to get kind of bored of the first couple levels, you suddenly unlock more interesting ones. And there's also 2 extra stages, so there are 14 different levels in this game.
That's pretty big for a shmup.
It's pretty beefy, and a full playthrough of just the 8-level campaign is about an hour. So it is an epic scope. And I just devoured this game. I just played it constantly for like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, like this is all you talked about for quite a while, and it was exciting because it got me very, very interested, and I really kind of need to like see what's up hardware wise, because I really want to experience this game. But yeah, for some reason,
friend's computer.
Yeah.
Just go to the library.
There you go. Oh god, that takes me back. Oh Jesus Christ.
Funny. Go to the school computer lab.
Yeah, just go to the computer lab. Go downtown. Go to the library.
Well, you're going to the library to obtain enlightenment.
There you go. May you obtain enfrightenment.
Oh wait, different game.
Different game.
The may you attain enlightenment catchphrase for this one is "keep your dignity."
Keep your dignity.
It's at the
yeah.
Every warning screen for all the bosses at the bottom is "keep your dignity."
Does that mean like don't get mad like a little piss baby if you lose? Is that basically what it means?
Good question. So I just played it nonstop, and the thing was, I don't think this game is actually like all that hard. Because for me, hard is like the part in the game that I can't learn.
Yeah.
I just have to kind of hope for the best.
Smash your face against it, hope for the best.
Get to this point with enough lives and bombs, basically.
Yeah.
So like a lot of Toho endgame stuff is kind of like that, where I'm just like, well, all right, I'm going to bomb through this one. I'm going to try my best here. Like a lot of stage 5 bosses especially. It just gets
like,
real hard.
It's like, hey, are those bullets coming at me from behind? Cool, I'm bombing it!
Wasn't there like one part in Life Force where I think it was the stage 4 boss where it just seemed like a coin flip?
It's a coin flip if you get hit or not.
Yeah. So this
I figured out a strat for it. I figured out a strat for it pretty late in the game. It seemed to work pretty consistently. That was not present in the 1cc strats, which seemed to be doing the coin flip that I was seeing. So I felt pretty smug about that. But yeah, there's the parts where it's just bullshit, and that's common in arcade games sometimes.
Yeah.
Is that it just kind of becomes bullshit. And you accept that, because if you're playing a bunch of old arcade games, like you've
got to expect bullshit.
Okay, I can deal with a little bit of this. Yeah, you got to expect it, respect it, deal with it.
Yeah.
So this doesn't really have that. Maybe a couple patterns near the very end, essentially, where it gets really hard. But it's very generous with bombs. You don't have a limited bombs. It just depletes the power from your main weapon, and then that power respawns automatically. And it respawns in like 10-15 seconds. Like it's very generous. Whoa. And there's an auto bomb if you have 3 or fewer lives. You get extra lives constantly, especially if you like from the bonus stage. Like I regularly went into end game levels with full lives, which is not true of Toho. So I think, and basically every obstacle up through maybe the end game, I found consistent strats for, to the point that when I finally, at the end, I'd practiced every level. You have to do 1cc's up to certain stages to unlock shit. So like you get to stage 4, you 1cc up through the end of stage 4, and that unlocks the first alternate stages and the practice mode. you 1cc up through end of stage 7, and that unlocks the short campaign where you only play like 5 versions of the levels, and it unlocks some of the extra stages. But like I've been practicing the whole time, like learning each stage and then doing like truncated 1cc's. At the very end, I was like, okay, I want to do a 1cc of the whole game, and it took either 1 or 2 tries. I don't remember exactly.
Nice.
So like it was that consistent where like once I just was like, all right, I'm gonna do the whole game now, and I just did it.
How's that for inscrutable? They say the game's inscrutable, and you're over here almost first trying it. Look at you. What a boss.
And yes, obviously a big part of that is I'm a super elite hardcore programmer for life.
Yeah, like you are what the Japanese call a super player with regards to shmups. You're literally just untouchable.
There isn't like a hard or lunatic mode. The only difficulty settings are you can max out. You can set the rank to max, or you can just all the time, or you can reduce the number of extra lives you can hold at a given time, and that's incentivized because when you collect a new extra life while at max lives, you get an immortal bonus, and it's really, really satisfying because when you have max lives, there's a shiny text right underneath lives. It just says immortal, and then it flashes when you get the big bonus, and it's really pleasing. So I don't actually. That's what I'm ultimately saying is I don't actually think it's inscrutable at all. I think that sort of does it some disservice.
Yeah, like I think that people will look at a screenshot and look at all of these gauges and think like the only stuff that really seems to matter is the left panel, and there's only 3 things to keep track of there. Yeah, literally just Sol, Luna, and Terra is all you really need to keep track of. If you are playing casually for survival to beat the game, you literally only need the left panel, and even then, all that shit can be put on your ship. Like on the sprite, so you can just like you don't even need to look over there. There are gauges that you can enable that just appear over your ship.
They added some UI stuff to the Steam release. It's very cute.
Yeah.
So that's all good shit. It's a 1-hour prog rock album action game. Is the comparison I decided I like for stuff like this and Zero Ranger and Reflex, where it's just like the structure, they play with structure in really cool ways.
Yeah.
And they're fucking long.
Yeah.
I feel like Radiant Silvergun probably is.
That's part of what I'm about to say.
Absolutely. Like Radiant Silvergun is where a lot of these games are pulling some of their
nonsense.
From. Yeah, that's where you're pulling a lot of the nonsense from. Like Hellsinker's, like even its UI font is very similar to what Treasure was using for Radiant Silvergun. Ikaruga and Sin and Punishment. So yeah.
So I think that rules, and that makes me excited to finally dip into that one down the line. I played Ikaruga to death as a kid and really liked it.
Right. I think like Ikaruga is kind of a touchstone for all of us. Like we all kind of probably dove headfirst into that game and stayed there for a good while.
It was significantly more accessible than Radiant Silvergun was, being a Japanese-only Saturn exclusive.
Yeah, well, Radiant Silvergun is a little inscrutable in its systems as well. It's kind of
also like an hour long.
Yeah, it's an hour long. It's kind of ridiculous.
I honestly, I actually did have the import. I still don't really understand how that game works though, because there's like arcade mode and Saturn mode.
Yeah.
And Saturn mode, like, you just get stronger as you play the game, so eventually you just start with like level 30 weapons and just breeze through it.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Roguelite mode.
It kind of is.
It kind of is. So now that's all really cool. One more thing that I didn't parse out until I was like 5 or 6 hours in is that this is one of those action games that cares deeply about its setting and its story in ways that aren't immediately obvious. And you get a big sense of that reading the manual.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But then also you get a big sense of that in the back half. It's very understated because they don't really tip their hand at all until you've cleared like stage 4, basically. because they don't unlock the practice mode until then, and that's like a major milestone. Is like, okay, now you have the practice mode, now you can get further, and after stage 4 is when shit starts getting weird. After stage 4 is also when they start dropping the full text interludes.
That's what I was waiting for.
That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for.
And they're very good. They're very dope. They're very fucking dense in their prose. I absolutely loved it. To me, this is that good Twine purple prose, visceral shit, basically.
Yeah.
Where it's just like about putting you in a mood, basically. And I think the text interludes just really nail that. And what they needed for me was I wanted to enjoy the mood and just soak in that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, I wanted to make me feel something. And I got through the whole damn thing, and I learned all these different levels, and I unlocked the short campaign, I unlocked the extra stages, and I cleared the extra stages. And then I went and cleared the whole 1cc, and that unlocked the final text sequences, and it made me feel things. It made me cry a little bit.
Nice.
It's not like a huge thing. It's not like what you're there for, I think, because it's an action game first and foremost.
Right.
But it accomplishes everything it wants to. I remember thinking after I watched like the big final boss sequence, I was like, I think I'm starting to piece out what's happening here. I really hope I'm right. This is really cool. And then I watched the ending sequence, and I was right, but in a completely different way than I expected. And it made me. And then the way it played out was really warm and nice.
Nice.
I'm going to read just a little sample of the prose here.
Yeah, regale us.
The tower we built, according to the plans, the center pulses and whirls, a starving vortex of karma. It is a risk decentralization machine, capturing, compressing, and regulating the karma that toys with fate, maintaining it at an equal level. A stake driven into the heart of this wild, beastly world, forcing tranquil equilibrium, a bridle placed upon the head of creation. That is what it is.
Yep. I know what this game is.
Yep, it's one of these. So I told a bunch of people, like, hey, if you like Nier or Luca.
This game was also made by one person, was it not? I am pretty sure this game was made by one person.
That would be pretty wild. I know it's at least a small group. They made one unfinished fighting game and one basically finished shmup before this, shorter shmup before this. Also, the music's real good. It has a bunch of real good music moments near the end. So, yeah, the fact that it got wild with the story and then stuck the landing was what, in addition to how fucking fantastic the action gets, was I think what nailed it as being like basically peers with like Reflex and Zero Ranger for me. Which is some of my favorite games ever. So
those are very, very good video games, by the way. Reflex and I got feelings.
Oh my god, I'm excited. I think a problem you run into with like basically any of these games that are an hour long is that they're never going to maintain the same level of energy throughout as your games. Like I cleared Kamui for the first time right before this. And that game is just, it's a 30-minute punch to the face. This game, especially because I was playing as Dead Liar and they sync up the music patterns to the enemies.
Oh, nice.
So I would kill enemies really fast, and the way they compensate for that sometimes is they spawn more of the same enemy wave. So it'd be there are a handful of times in the hour-long playthrough I'm like, okay, you can get on with it. I know how to beat this thing now. Come on. And I think you run into like kind of slow moments like with most like 1 hour shmups with most.
Yeah. Like Reflex is a great game, but like there are a couple moments in that game where it's just like, okay, let's get on with it.
Mm-hmm. And this has that too. So that I think, and that's also it, especially in the very first level, the very first non-alternate level. It has a couple moments where like, wait, what the fuck? Are you really just making me wait here for like 10 seconds?
Yeah.
And then so it almost doesn't put its best foot forward there. But then that's not even like the real level 1, basically.
Yeah, it's kind of.
So that is my whole spectrum of thoughts, basically. It fits into a tradition of action game that makes me really, really, really happy, and it's one of my new favorite games. So I hope you figure out your computer shit.
Yeah,
so
I like, of all the games that like I've kind of been real bummed about not being able to play, and for some, like, I don't like, because this game does not. It's not resource intensive. It's just a weird conflict somewhere. I can't get it to run over 10 frames a second for some reason. And I'm on a pretty beastly machine. So it's nothing. It's just, this is a 2006 video game that's not playing well with modern hardware. But it's something I want to try and figure out, because this is a game that I know that I'm going to like what this thing is doing.
Mm-hmm. And it's especially because I had that spree where I was playing a bunch of the new Toho games and getting really exhausted with, like, even when they really called for it, they wouldn't break the structure.
Yeah,
at all.
It's very uniform. Just gonna do what it's doing.
Extremely married to that. Extremely married to being the same kind of game it's been for 17 games.
Yeah.
You would take a Twinkle Star Sprites, and this just isn't. It just goes so hard throughout. It's just like every level is throwing like a stage 5 Toho gimmick, cool idea at you, or more, and then it just, the way it just explodes at the very end is just is a sight to behold. I keep listening to the music and freaking out again. I just really like it a lot.
Yeah.
Shmups are great.
John, I know shmups are great because I literally spent the last 2 weeks only playing shmups.
Is that a transition I sense? I think it might be.
It can be. I was just gonna tack some stuff on here since we're in the middle of this big hellsinker, like kind of the crown jewel of the episode, probably. But I kind of went back to Reflex for a bit. Played that for a little bit. I didn't get the 1cc on it again, but I was just kind of like, I'm playing this again and having a good time. That game's still really rad. Yeah, that game still feels good. It's incredible. Go play it. I played another.
The 1cc isn't really intimidating.
Pardon?
The 1cc for Reflex is really intimidating because of the nature of the last level.
The last level's just, oh my god. It's nuts. It's adequate.
It makes it real scary.
Yeah, it's... Oh boy, there's so much. Yeah, it's real good though. It's so much. It's so good. I played.
I play Reflex.
I played another game. We were talking about like a quick 30-minute punch to the face. I played a game called Gray's Counter. This was a brisk little 20-30-minute game that took me, I don't know, 5 or 6 runs to get the 1cc on normal. But it's kind of adjacent to Reflex in a way, because it deals a lot with grazing bullets, obviously, is in the namesake, because that's what gives you energy, and canceling bullets using a big fat laser, and it's got a break mode like Crimson Clover, so that feels even better. But it's got a real satisfying system where you graze bullets to build up this laser to 100%. You fire the laser, and when you're at 100%, you're completely invincible, so you can just swish your way across the screen. You got stars flying at you. It feels real good to grab all those points, and they add up real fast. You know, this is one of those games where you leave the stage and you've got a score of 50 million points. It's it's that kind of nuts. So you build up graze, you fire your big laser, and you can fire your laser once you hit 50%. but you only get the invulnerability when you hit 100%. So they're kind of making you kind of play smart with it, or kind of play defensively, play offensively. You get to kind of play around with how you want to utilize it. So you do that, you grab yellow stars, and you build up your break gauge, and then you use your break gauge to fire off your big, stupid laser, which is incredible and feels really good. And that collects you red stars, which are even more points, and they just fucking fly out of everything, and the laser's got a lot of impact.
Fantastic.
Feels real good. It's just a super solid little 5-stage game that I think Beepner gifted me this a couple years ago, and I just didn't get around to it immediately. But I saw it sit in my library and was like, I'm playing a lot of shmups lately. Let's play that. And then, yeah, I just sat down for an evening and 1cc'd that. It's just I think that this is a really, if you're looking to try to get into 1cc'ing games, I don't think that the bullet patterns that it throws at you are so devious that you can't, because the whole idea is to, play defensively with the laser, cancel bullets, cancel your way out of the worst patterns, and there's no real penalty for doing it. Because that's just it's literally panic bomb the game if you want to play it like that. But yeah, I had a real good time with it. That game's really good. Surprising, it caught me off guard. It wasn't expecting to have this weird little anime shooter that I'd never heard of. Just kind of impressed me, but it was a really solid little experience. I played another shmup called Cetasius. It's kind of a Gradius / Darius-like. It's kind of just it's okay. It's doing hey, here's a Gradius gimmick. Do you know this Gradius gimmick? All right, well, we're doing it. Here it is. Here's the high speed section. Here's the high speed section. That's a maze where you can pick wrong.
Boy, yeah.
Oh no!
But at least their power-up system works in a way to where, every weapon has 8 levels of energy, and, when you die, you only lose 2. So, when you die, you're not completely getting dumpstered. Your run's not dumpstered entirely. It's just, oh, okay, well, I just lost a couple levels on my weapons, and I can easily get them back because the game gives out power-ups like candy. But I just kind of, I haven't finished it yet. I'm still working on it, but I'm probably not going to be in any hurry to go back to it because I think it's just kind of It's kind of a me too. And it's the presentation is real boring and drab. It's just a lot of dark green and gray and just not really all that impressive. It's got some funny gotcha moments where I was going down this fire level. And you're going down this vertical shaft, which those are always fun. And it's just you're maneuvering your way around these walls and stuff. And then all of a sudden, just a big pillar of fire just shoots down. And you're just you have no way of knowing that's coming. There's no alert or anything. It just happens. It's oh, okay. I want to be the Vic Viper. Is that what this is? Is this just I want to be the guy, but it's just in shmup form? Just okay, I know what you're doing, game. I might finish it, I might not, but I wasn't I'm not super impressed by it. That, and the soundtrack is really fucking grating. Just it
says 2 points above. It says 2 points above Hydra on the top 20 Dojin shmups of all time.
I'm really mad. I'm so mad. Fuck you. Hydra
is tied with Exceed Third and Jamestown.
Oh, really? I played a little of this and I was just yeah, I think this feels bad.
Cetasius is better than Hydora. Exceed Third is on the same level as Hydora. Shmups.org, we need to have a talking about why your opinions are fucking terrible. Dodon Pachi is not the greatest fucking shmup ever made. Could we please stop dick riding it?
Yeah, Toho UFO is.
I like the very first response here, and that's UFO over Hellsinker isn't an opinion, it's a travesty.
What terrible opinions! Jesus Christ. I played another game. I've played it before, but I sat down this past weekend. I had a mission. I was like, I'm gonna do this now. So have either of you heard of a little game called Zero Ranger?
Just a bit.
I think so. I think it showed up on shmups.org's top 25 shmups list. I think that's what I heard about it from.
So yeah, I went into that game this week with a mission because there's a thing that happens in Zero Ranger, and I'm not going to spoil it, but it's something that can really demoralize you if you do it. If you do it and you fail. And boy, oh boy, I had this happen to me a couple of times. And then I put the game down for a couple months. I was like, okay, I'm in a shmup mood again. Let's sit down. Let's grind this back out. Let's get ourselves some continues. Let's get this going. And I went through and I finally finished up Zero Ranger. Holy fucking shit! That game's real
good, huh?
Good. Holy shit!
Real good, huh?
Fuck! That is a game of the year. That is a game of the year contender. Jesus fucking Christ!
Yeah, I think.
God, I love Zero Ranger. Oh man, like,
are you turning around because of the ending, or it just all clicked with you?
I think the whole thing clicked this time because I had to sit down and play through everything again. I had to kind of re-experience this game from the ground up again, due to the way that I had previously left my save file. So, kind of replaying that all and kind of approaching it with fresh eyes, approaching it having kind of been on a bit of a shmup bender. I was playing a lot better. It wasn't as frustrating at certain parts as that it could have been. And then that game's climax goes real fucking hard in a way that I'm just entirely here for. Yeah, that game's really special. Zero Ranger, yeah, that game deserves all the praise that it gets. I think Rhett needs to finish it anyway, even if he's frustrated. Rhett told me something the other night that just floored me.
Oh God.
He said, I don't know. I don't know that I enjoy shmups the way you two do. And I'm like, motherfucker, you've made 7. You've made 7 shmups. 7.2 if we count the level in Mike Man.
But that's more like I really, really hate repetition, which is ironic. Again, giving this genre, is all about 1cc's and starting over and getting better.
Yeah,
all of my games don't have lives. I've never made a game with limited lives in it.
Yeah, I get that.
Like I would say I approach them more as action set pieces than shmups.
That's true.
Mm.
But man, like Zero Ranger's good. Like the story, just the way everything that game is doing, from its structure to the level design to the encounters, it's so smart. It's so well put together. The care and attention put into that whole package, and it recently just got an update with a whole new mode in it.
Mm-hmm. It's really cute. It's like a 20-minute.
It's a digest version, sort of what the game is. But
the big thing is it's not.
Yeah, it's a caravan shooter mode.
It's
a caravan shooter mode where the idea is to score as many points as possible. They throw you 1-ups like candy. It's just real good.
But they rank you on every set piece, so it's really cute.
It's pretty good. Like, see, like my whole idea of like I know like Hellsinker seems to have kind of been the thing that kind of got you going on shmups lately, but for me it was just like I got a TurboGrafx 16 Mini, and that thing's got like 800. That thing's got 800,000 shmups on it. So yeah, I was
Airzonk got you going.
Yeah, Airzonk got me going. There you go. That was actually a Soldier Blade. I'm working on a 1cc for that.
Nice.
And that was kind of like what put me, I guess, in the right mood. And then John started talking about Hellsinker again, and I was just like, man, gonna go replay Reflex, and then I just kind of like went on this journey from there. I was just like, okay, I'm playing Reflex. Hey, Grace counter, what was this? When did I get that? Who gave me that? Oh right, Cetasius. Why am I playing this? It's boring. I know. Let's play Zero Ranger and really cap this off. My goal is to completely 1cc Zero Ranger in one go. But I don't know that that's going to happen like immediately, because I kind of like I hit a point in all of this shmuppiness the other day where I was replaying more Gray's Counter, because I was kind of trying to miss that game now. And I was just like, oh, okay, I'm just kind of like not getting any joy out of this now, so maybe it's time to move on for a bit from the genre. Like I might have kind of played a little too much here. We got to the end of Zero Ranger, and we can confirm that is a fantastic video game that needs all the attention that we are trying to give it. I feel like I want Zero Ranger to be that shmup people talk about when they're trying to get new people in the shmups instead of Ikaruga. Because I know Ikaruga is kind of like the...
Oh, I like that.
Like, Ikaruga is like the one that everybody kind of... Like, that's the one everybody tries to get everybody to play, or they try to get people into the genre, or it's just so ubiquitous. But I feel like Zero Ranger is a better touchstone, because I think that the way that game kind of builds as it goes, I feel it's got like a much gentler curve to it, while also setting the player up for success with the way that its systems function.
It never actually needs you to 1cc it either to see the whole story.
No, not at all. No.
Which is nice.
I kept thinking that it was going to at some point, so I kept starting over from the beginning anyways.
See, that's the thing, is that like the thing that people kind of misinterpret about Zero Ranger, and I know this because I've seen it happen I think 2 other times, is they're misinterpreting how continues work. Where when you earn a credit, you have that credit. Like, even if you use that credit on a playthrough, when you start your next playthrough, you still have all of your credits. And I think that when people use their credits, they think that they're using them permanently, so that they just keep trying to 1cc it and getting frustrated.
See, I knew that I was building them up, but I still felt like that I was cheating the game by quarter feeding it, basically.
Quarter feeding it or starting at a later level.
Yeah. So that when I got to the end, and then I did have to start to the beginning, I was pretty demoralized.
Yeah.
Like, oh, now all those stage 1 attempts were actually practice for this.
Like, Zero Ranger wants you to succeed, and it, like I said, the way that it's structured kind of sets you up for that. I still wish that they had a better practice mode, or a practice mode at all, and I wish that you could start a level and start at whatever rank that you want as well, because because Gray's Counter has that option. It has an option to where you can practice any stage at any rank, and that made kind of like learning the couple of bits that I was having problems with 1ccing that game a lot easier to do, because I can just say, okay, I know about where my rank is at when I get here, so I can just throw that up, practice it a bit, go back, and then do the run there. I wish Zero Ranger had more comprehensive options.
Because I think I didn't even know Zero Ranger had rank until you guys mentioned it, so that's probably why like I could start on stage 3 and be fine, but then when I get there,
but when you get there,
I get fucking get my ass kicked.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, I've seen multiple people complain about that, and I think that's very fair.
Yeah. Dude, Zero Ranger's super fucking good. Shmups are great.
Shmups are so good.
I love me some shmups.
I want to make another one.
I want to make one. It'd be great. It'd be fantastic. So, I mean, I got a couple other things I can talk about, but I guess we can swing it around next time. Rhett!
Hi.
Hey!
Yes, I'm here as well.
You're here. You have things that you can talk about now. We're gonna give you that permission.
I thought you were about to go into a break there, and I'm like, I haven't had my spot yet.
No, I would never leave you out.
Okay.
You have my sincerest. You have my sincerest promise that I would never leave you out of the podcast. I would leave John out, not you.
We should do that one time. just talk about our things for an hour and then be like, okay, break time.
That would be good. That'd be great. It'd be a good bit. It'd be a funny bit, I think.
Yeah.
John would probably find it hilarious.
Be like, oh. Be like, oh, oops. Okay. I'll bring it up after break. It's fine.
Rhett, what have you been into? What's the haps?
So John played a game called Hellsinker.
Mm-hmm.
It's got hell in the title.
It does.
And it's a shmup where you're trying to beat it from the start all the time.
Yeah.
And it's about an hour long.
You played Helltaker.
No. I played that last year.
Okay.
So there was one game on the Game of the Year podcast that none of us had played.
Oh boy, this was ubiquitous, wasn't it?
But kept coming up on a whole lot of user lists.
Did somebody did one of us finally do the honors?
I took the plunge and bought Hades.
Oh, okay. You got to take us top to bottom. What the hell is Hades?
It's a roguelite.
What the hell?
It's a roguelike.
Okay.
I think it's more of a roguelite. There's a lot of progression in this game. I could say one thing that will put both of you off this game real quickly.
Uh-oh. What is
There's like 10 different currencies.
Oh, no.
This game's got numbers going up. It feels good.
Oh, no.
Okay, but
I actually found out that Hades was a game where it was had progression between runs, and I actually tweeted in disappointment, like, "Oh my god, why didn't any of you tell me this? So I wouldn't have to care."
It's not that it has progression between runs. It's just like, oh no, why do you need 10 currencies?
It's got a lot of progression between runs. So okay, let's back up a bit though.
Okay, let's back it up.
The thing, every single it kept coming up in every user list or listener list. I always call them users for some reason. The listener list. They always mentioned the story, and I thought how weird that was that the story kept being the selling point of this roguelike. So, story in games is weird because there's two different types. Like, take Grand Theft Auto 4 or something. Where, like, if Paulie thinks of the story of that game, it's probably, like, the story of Nico and his, coming back to America. But when people play Grand Theft Auto 4, their story of that game might be, I stole a cop car and shot a bunch of people and then blew up with a grenade launcher.
Yeah, like, there's convergent stories, and then there's your actual set-piece story.
There's the actual narrative, and then there's the story of what happened to you in the game.
Yeah.
Hades is a game that, more than anything else I've ever played, tries to make those the same thing.
I think you can kind of see that. Like,
it definitely started with Bastion.
Yeah, Supergiant has always tried to make that a thing.
So I played Transistor, didn't really like it. I haven't played the game Pyre in between. This one though, so this is a roguelike. The actual narrative story of this game is about this prince of the underworld trying to escape from a randomly generated dungeon.
Excellent.
And when he dies, he goes back to the start.
Dang.
So there is zero discrepancy between the gameplay and the actual narrative.
Much like Rogue Legacy.
Yeah.
Like, that's that game's entire story is, it's a randomly changing dungeon.
But Rogue Legacy was goofy about it. This, like, takes it super seriously. And there's an enormous amount of voice acting in this game.
Oh yeah. That's one of the big constants I keep hearing is that it has so many voiced lines.
There's some super minor incidental stuff that I think I've started to hear repeating, but like as far as like major lines of character dialogue, like still have not had anything repeat because I think it just keeps track of every line it's ever delivered, so that nothing ever repeats.
Oh, that's wild.
And then, like, characters will comment on how your run is going. Like, if you go into a boss fight with low health, they'll be like, looks like you got roughed up on the way here, huh? Like, and there's just a million permutations and just how the game just feels so reactive to what is happening in your run. We're like, so... Dead Cells. Dead Cells was...
Okay.
It was very equipment-based.
Yeah.
And I didn't really gel with that as much. this game, it has perks, much more similar to Binding of Isaac, that modify your core abilities. So this game has a lot more, permutations of, like, I'm going somewhere with this. Basically, all of your perks are based on Greek gods, and they talk to you when they give you a perk.
Nice.
So, like, you'll pick up a lightning bolt, and then Zeus will be like, "Hey there, nephew," or whatever.
I want him to just say, "Hey there, nephew."
No, I'm not joking. They're all a lot of them are like super jovial, and they're all technically like family members.
You pick up a gigantic boner, and Aphrodite's like, "Yo."
Hers is a harp, but she is in the game, and she's very flirty.
Yes.
And I think she's like basically naked.
Why not? Right?
Yeah. But yeah, like, and then you start to actually learn the relationships. Like, I think Zeus is Hades' brother, but then Hades got kind of banished to be the Lord of the Underworld. So they're all up on Mount Olympus, and you and Hades are down in, the underworld.
Oh, that's
sucks. So you're Prince Zagreus, and you're trying to break out. And then every time you die, you go down the river Styx and end up at the bottom of the randomly generated dungeon.
Shit!
So, like, but what I was leading towards there is that the perks will then start to talk to each other.
Oh, where, like, weird.
If you pick up Aphrodite after that, she'll be like, "Oh, I see Zeus is helping you out this time, huh?" Like, that's what I mean when there's just, like, an infinite feeling number of dialogue variations.
Oh, that's fucking crazy.
And then there are abilities, like, so the normal perks are called boons, like the god's boon. There are duo boons that will only show up if you have a specific two gods together.
If you get Aphrodite, it's Poon.
Yeah.
You see what I did there?
And they will have dialogues where they start talking to each other, like, "Oh, what if we team up and do this for old Zagreus here?" Like, it's just really crazy.
So, like, do these synergies, like, actually, like, I mean, beyond just talking to one another, do the abilities actually synergize?
Not as crazy as Isaac, but definitely more than Dead Cells, which was, 0.
Yeah, Dead Cells was not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, so there's 6 main weapons in the game. There's, sword, spear, shield, bow, gun. I might be forgetting one. So they all have, your normal attack and a special attack, and then for all builds you have a magic spell. And so all of the initial boons are like the Zeus one will be like, "Oh, it'll make your attack shoot out lightning that bounces around between enemies when you hit them." And then, like, if you get another boon from Zeus, then it could be like, also when an enemy is electrocuted, he takes damage the next time he attacks. Like,
oh, okay.
So, like, basically, when you pick up a boon from a god, it'll give you a random 3.
Yeah.
But then, like, people found that there's, like, basically flowcharts that the game hides from you that, like, you have to take X to get Y to show up as an option. So it feels reactive to, like, you'll only get stuff that makes sense for your current build, and that actually feels really good.
You know what? That's really fucking smart. Like, yeah. And again, I leave it to Supergiant to be the ones to kind of make the decision like that, because they've always seemed cognizant of making their games tailored around the idea that you can't really fuck up and make a bad decision, or you can't, like, have a bad build or something. And they've always kind of been on top of that, I think.
There have been times where it's like, because you always have the basic magic spell, it'll keep giving me stuff for the magic spell that I don't really want.
Right.
It's like, there are ways for it to kind of go wrong.
Yeah.
But it is like, you're never going to get something, like, this happened in Dead Cells all the time, where you get a weapon that's like, and it does 50% damage to burning enemies, but you don't have anything that can burn enemies.
Yeah, like, it doesn't make sense at all. And they expect you to just hold on to it until you have one, or that you got it with one, and it just feels bad. Like, it's like the Diablo treadmill of finding shit that for other classes that you're never going to be able to use.
So in this, you'll only get a boon that has, like, a status effect modifier if you're able to do that status effect to begin with.
Oh my god, that's so good!
Yeah. One of them is like, I forget which goddess it is, but like all her modifiers are like on deflect. So it's like, oh, your attack will deflect bullets, or your dash will deflect bullets.
Yes.
And then you can get stuff that's like, oh, attacks that are deflected do double damage.
Nice.
So again, they work with each other in logical ways. So I'll talk about the craziest run I've had so far. It was the first time I got to the final boss.
Mm-hmm.
I had the grenade launcher. It's actually an assault rifle, and then the special is the grenade launcher.
I love this.
Which is such a... They kind of they lampshaded a bit in the game where it's like, what the heck is that thing you're using? That doesn't exist.
I love this.
One of the characters is Achilles, legendary hero.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, well, I'm glad they didn't have those when I was alive. Because your weapon is so ridiculous.
That's so good, though.
Listen, they wanted a gun in the game. They said, fuck it.
Fuck it. Why not?
Yeah. So anyways, the special is... Oh, so... I apologize for being... One of the other modifiers is the Daedalus Hammer. And then that has its own huge list of things that they can modify to your weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, straight up changing what your primary attack is or what your special is. So, like, there's a lot of ways things can be mutated. Where, like, if your sword attack is normally, like, a 3-hit combo, one of the mutations is, like, just make it one big chop that does 90 damage.
Okay.
So, like, your primary attack is just completely changed. But then when you stack that on top of all of the, like... And then it shoots a lightning bolt out kind of stuff. Like, you can get builds that change on a dime in an interesting way.
That's interesting.
So, like, the grenade launcher that I was mentioning, the default one is just shoot it up into the air, and then it lands, like, a second later. One of the modifiers is just make it a rocket launcher instead.
Yes!
So you just shoot it straight, and it just hits the enemy and explodes.
Goddamn right it does!
The gun has been my most used, so I know most of the modifiers for this one. Mm-hmm. One of them is shoot 5 at once, but they're a little bit weaker. So you just shoot it, and it just does a fucking spread in front of you.
Yes! I love this.
And then my favorite one, which is the one I was using on this build, was make the explosion significantly bigger, do 3 times damage, but it can hurt you as well.
Okay.
So I picked that one like right at the start of this run, and I'm just launching these grenades that are doing insane damage because they're already 3x modified.
You were just ipecac all over the place.
Yeah. It is basically that. I didn't hit myself until like the floor 3 boss.
Oh, nice.
And it only did like 7 damage, and I was like, oh.
Okay.
Nothing. I'm very safe from this thing, even if I do screw up and get myself... Because in Isaac, yeah, ipecac will kill you.
Yeah, ipecac is... Yeah, it's fucked.
Yeah. So the next modifier I got was the Poseidon, the water guy.
Mm-hmm.
His is on special. It knocks enemies back, but your special does 100% damage more. Nice. So it's even stronger now. And then I just started getting a ton of Poseidon abilities that all stacked with each other to make sense. And it just got fucking crazy where it's like, okay, now your knockback damage is causing enemies to bleed out when they move.
Oh, jeez.
So as soon as they start getting pushed back, they're moving, so they're taking even more damage. And then I got one that was like, when an enemy gets pushed into a wall, which is already a thing, like wall slam damage, make wall slam damage do twice as much. So I'm like, okay, that's really good as well, because I'm already pushing stuff around.
Yeah, that's a good synergy.
And then I got one of the goofiest ones I've seen yet, 2x knockback.
Oh, wow!
So but like the way it was implemented seemed like an enemy would take a knockback hit, stop for a frame,
and then just
take another knockback hit.
Got to wonder if that's just like they didn't program that right or something. That feels like something that should be a smooth motion.
Funny, just seeing them kind of do. Basically, what happened was in the final area of the game, I would throw one grenade and all the enemies would just start ping-ponging around the room and die.
Oh.
Because they were slamming into walls, they were taking damage from moving, they were taking the grenade damage, which was like ridiculous, and I'm just like, this run is fucking broken. So that was the most like, oh, everything is synergizing together. This is very funny.
Yeah.
Maybe the most Isaac-y one?
It was definitely the most Isaac one so far.
One?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We're just, every perk is just working together to synergize and make lunacy happen. Because so far this game does seem relatively difficult to break.
Mm-hmm.
Like it does seem shockingly balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Where like they have carefully tuned all these modifiers to not get out of control. This one time things got a little fucking crazy. But then unfortunately that was my first time against the last boss, so I had no idea what to do, and I don't think you can knock him back.
Oh no! This knockback build is suddenly pretty pointless.
So I still did pretty good though, but for a first try.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I found a thing later on that like records every single run you do. Oh. So I got to the last boss on run 20,
mm-hmm.
and then it's like run 22, die to the last boss. Run 24, die to the last boss. There's like 4 in a row. And then it's finally run 30, beat the game.
Did it!
I did it!
Made it out of hell, son. Good job.
Yeah. So I won't talk about what happens when you beat the game.
Mm-hmm.
But so throughout all these runs, you're talking to characters and like doing kind of NPC quests like that advance via dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
There's a thing that can happen that happened to happen right after I beat the boss for the last time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not guaranteed to happen because at run 20, I wasn't nearly far enough on that side quest line.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd only recently had a thing happen that made this possible. So I had the emotions of beating my first run, and then this other thing on top of it happening, and I just started crying. It was really, really emotional. So it was like, and I didn't reach end credits yet. There's still a lot of game to reach end credits for.
Oh, I kind of figured. I didn't figure that once you do the thing that it's over. I figured there's definitely quite a bit more here to go.
Yeah. People have been playing too many people have been playing 300 hours of this game.
Yeah,
for that.
Yeah. I mean, so there's an ending, and then there's a true ending.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't going for that true ending. It sounds completely fucked. Like that's one of my main complaints to this game is like it almost does seem like irresponsible how much infinite time you could put into this thing.
Like they maybe went a little too far at the end.
The true ending stuff sounded insane. It was just like, oh, this is the one game you played this year, and you played 10 hours a day or something.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but I mean, yeah.
I saw one person say that they had beaten it 50 times and were not at the true ending yet. So,
I kind of feel like if you beat any game 50 times, one of those times should have been true ending. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Especially because I think runs in this for me are lasting about an hour of real time.
Yeah,
even though it's about a half hour. So the game tracks you when you're, moving in a chamber.
Mm-hmm.
But then because there's so much dialogue and so much, slight downtime, like even just room transitions, like it ends up being twice as long. Real time. So yeah, it's really good. I think it just has really solid action game chops. Like because there's definitely a ton of progression, especially towards the start, where it's like when you start with 50 HP, going up to starting with 100 HP makes a huge difference.
That's big.
Or when you unlock, basically, there's extra lives you can unlock, which makes, massive difference.
That's what makes all of the Twitter discourse people hate this video game.
Yeah. But I think you get so much of that progression right at the start, and then it slows down dramatically, so now where it's just like, I just have to get good at this point.
Right.
Gotcha. So it's kind of like a soft tutorial.
Yeah.
In that sense.
I mean, there's definitely a thing that happens after you beat it for the first time where it's like the real Dark Souls starts here, fucker. Like the weapon I beat the game with of the 6, that one is permanently harder now.
Oh, that's real neat.
So I could use one of the other ones, or I can suffer a bit using that one again.
I'm here for that. That sounds pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, because it's like there's a thing
I think harder bosses is a good reward for doing well in action games.
Yeah. So the game does have that push-pull of like it keeps getting easier and easier as you collect darkness and then upgrade through these runs. But then once you start actually winning, it starts to push in the other direction and get harder again.
Yeah, like cool. that Supergiant are the ones that kind of cracked this nut. It's not surprising to me because I feel that like their games have always kind of had this really delicate balance to them, where there's a push and pull. Like you can look back as far as like Bastion with like the Pantheon and the gods and how you could make the game harder and things like that. Like they've always been super, super on top of that shit.
It's actually extremely similar to that.
Cool.
Like there's definitely such a direct line from Bastion to this game.
Oh yeah, like this like this feels like if you had to, you could call it Bastion 2 or some shit with the way that all the systems seem to function, the way the combat seems to work. Just seems to have a very similar kind of feel to it.
Definitely. There's so much in this game that makes me go, that's really smart. Like even when there's like a million different systems and like upgrade currencies, every time I'm still like, yeah, but that's really smart. The way they've implemented this.
That's cool. I'm here for it. Yep. I'm definitely playing this at some point.
I'll play this. I am starting to feel a little burnt out because I've put a lot of time into this game over the last like week.
Oh yeah, you have.
But like I was so glad when I got that first win. It's like, okay, at least I've hit a moment, even though it's not the end. I've hit a big cathartic moment, and maybe I'll slow down and kind of grind this out for the rest of the year.
You hit the cry moment.
Yeah, you got the cry moment. Yeah. You got the cry moment. Now you spend the rest of the year doing the grind moment.
That's my one fear, is that has this peaked for me? Is no moment left in this game going to hit that high again? And that's what's terrifying.
With the way people talk about this game, I can't think that like that one moment is the only moment. I have to think
it was pretty fucking good though.
Fantastic.
Yeah, but again, it was because two things that don't have to line up did line up.
Yeah,
that just made it even sweeter.
Yeah, that sounds like a really cool little experience.
That's a very personal moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my biggest issue right now is because I've been putting so much time into it, and because it is so much action game focus, like there's not a ton of variety in like the enemies and bosses. Like the boss of each floor is, at least the boss of floors 2 and 3 are always the same. Actually 2, 3, and 4. So like a pretty significant portion of the game. So like they start to get a bit rote when it's like you know exactly their tails and their movement.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really don't like the third floor boss that much. Oh. He has a shield and he's a real motherfucker.
Oh no.
You shoot him and the bullet just bounces off and you're just like, what the fuck?
That's not cool. That's not cool, so Sniper Joe. You can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
cool.
It's really
game. Fun watching you go on this journey.
Yeah.
It was really fun watching you go on this journey because we know you have a lot of the same kind of values as we do, like very directly. So kind of watching it resonate was fun and nice. And like, oh, okay, yeah. Okay. I think this was sort of the big trendy.
Yeah, definitely. Oh god,
in a lot of ways.
I mean, again, I'm still a little floored seeing this win like game of the year at like IGN, which is like, wow, you guys really like this one, huh? Or just, why did nothing AAA come out last year?
Well, I mean, looking at AAA, like there wasn't a lot to be excited about, I don't think.
I think that this one game of the year at IGN, I think something else too. One of the other like big sites.
Yeah. Which
was just kind of crazy for a smaller studio roguelike.
Like, it's probably going to do well when Giant Bomb does theirs as well.
I can't believe they still haven't. I'm not sure what happened. Okay, yeah. Hades is Eurogamer's game of the year as well.
Like this game hit in such a way that like it was literally on my timeline every single day. Once it left early access, it was on my timeline every day. I saw either some fan art, somebody talking about playing it, people that I follow streaming it. Like, it's just like this game never left the public conscience, and I don't think it's going to for a while.
Yeah, because some people are still grinding out that true ending.
Grind out that true ending, baby. Got to get it going.
I think with ones that have that big popularity boost, basically, it can be easy to. I think I fell into this a couple times with this game in particular, where I was just like a little dismissive.
Yeah, it's easy to be cynical.
I definitely was as well. I was just like, oh my god, shut up about how good it is already. I had the exact same thing with Celeste, where it's just like a platformer can't possibly that good.
I was thinking exactly Celeste, where it's like a year and a half straight of just like this is my favorite game, this is everything, and it's easy to get a little, I think, snooty with situations like that, especially when it hits like other prejudices, sort of like with me and the whole roguelite thing.
Yeah. Because I am that person these days where I see, like, I go and look at a new game on Steam and I see the words rogue anywhere in the tags. Yeah. I immediately shriek in terror, throw my computer out the window, and run out the door. That is how far away I want to be from any... Because you know what, man? Like, look, I think a lot of the time roguelite and roguelike are just shorthand for, I don't want to bother with level design.
Yeah.
That's just me, though.
I mean, to be fair, I would say there really isn't a whole lot of level design in this. Like, there's really just, pre-made arenas.
Yeah, they're just arena fights.
It's so combat focused that it doesn't really bug me at all.
Yeah.
Where like a roguelike platformer, that's a way harder thing to get right, I think.
Cool.
Yeah, like this is definitely on my to playlist. I've just got so many other things right now that I want to get to.
That's fair.
And I know that this game's going to click with me, so I'm not in any immediate rush to get to it. It's why I didn't immediately just go buy it during the sales, because like, you know what? I've like there's gifts here sitting here that I want to just get to. Yeah. I got a couple of new games for Switch and PS4 that I want to get to. East 9 is coming out like in a couple of weeks.
Oh god, yeah. I realized like, I could just buy East 9 new. Yeah. I didn't do that last time.
Yeah, like we can all go into East 9 together. It'd be fantastic.
God, that's cool.
So it's just like I know that this is like this is on my list. I'm just not in any hurry because I've just got so many other cool things ahead of it right now.
I like deliberately didn't start playing this until like the Thursday towards the end of my vacation. So I was like, well, I don't want to just play Hades all week. and then I started on Thursday and played it for like 8 hours straight, and it was just like, see, I told you.
Why didn't I play this all my vacation?
No, I was like, see, you couldn't control yourself like a fucking kid in a candy store. You just fucking binged it for 8 hours straight. So now I have to pace myself a little bit. Yeah, this last week was just like, get home, do Hades run, get up, do Hades run, go to work.
I mean, why not? I mean, given the week that it's been...
Oh my god.
Oh, Lord. Whatever gets you through it.
Yeah. That's the way to be, I think.
So, break?
Yeah, we are going to take ourselves a 5-minute break, and then we will be back for another half of whatever it is that we do. So get up, stretch your nuts out, and do whatever you need to do. We'll be right back.
Dope.
dialogue in Hades.
That's good. I'm here for it. I want to hear it all. I wonder if Logan Cunningham did any voices for it.
I mean, there is an overall narrator, so I think that's him. You could probably look it up.
I mean, why wouldn't it be, right?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't sound exactly like the
Rux.
Yeah. Oh, right, he was a character in. Oh, he does a lot of voices.
Does he?
Oh, interesting. He's Hades.
Whoa! Oh, neat.
He's Hades, Poseidon, and Achilles.
Oh, that's fucking rad.
Okay, that makes interesting. I wonder who the overall narrator is. I should look that up. I don't even know what the. Oh, okay.
It's just Logan Cunningham, I think.
Yeah, I looked on Logan Cunningham's page and it just had those first three, but on the full page for Hades it adds Karen and the storyteller. So obviously the storyteller's the one. It's pretty good. I had no idea who was doing all those characters, especially when two of them talk to each other.
Oh yeah, like that's always a funny thing to think about dubbing wise and doing dialogue, is somebody having to talk to themselves.
Yeah.
Of course, Darren Korb being the composer doesn't surprise me. Like Supergiant kind of just sticks to.
Oh wait, so interesting. Darren Korb voices Zagreus.
Yeah, he voices Zagreus.
Your main character.
Yeah. Like, they just kind of stick to their talent pool of people that they work with. Like, they don't venture too far out.
Yeah.
And people said that, like when Greg Kasavin left GameSpot, like, oh, he'll never make it as a game.
Oh, my God.
He'll never make it in games. And his first game out is Bastion. It's like, yeah, okay.
Whoops. Greg Kasavin as Hypnos in Hades. So they're all just doing the voices themselves. That's even funnier.
That's so cool.
I actually got a question on Jeopardy the other day because of this game.
Oh, what?
Yeah, well, they did a question about Hypnos, and I'm just like, gotta sleep.
Oh, wow.
Because that's all the titles in the game are just what they are.
Oh, no, those were Alex's last episodes, weren't they?
It's Friday.
Oh, man. That's sad.
It's really rough because the original schedule was for that episode to air Christmas.
Yeah.
So they put 2 weeks of filler in.
Yeah.
So that it wasn't on Christmas.
Man.
But yeah, I watched a bunch of those last month of episodes, and it was super weird every time he would mention, like, it's Christmas or it's New Year's. It's, Christmas Eve, and like, oh, you died like early February.
Man.
Because it was like when he mentioned Thanksgiving and stuff.
Oh, he died in October, I think. He didn't die in February.
No. I think he died early November.
Yeah, it was like October, November, somewhere around there. But yeah, like him mentioning like holidays and stuff.
Because they just recorded. Yeah, they had. Yeah. Like, third to last episode, he did, like, a plea for people to be decent to each other during COVID-19, and it's just like, well, I guess you guys knew it was going to be bad around Christmas, huh?
We let you down, Alex. We've done we did a shitty job. It's almost as bad as letting down Mr. Rogers.
Oh, God.
What I miss?
Oh, we were just talking about letting down Alex Trebek and how we're all terrible.
Oh,
well, we're not terrible.
No, I think we as a society are just fucking terrible. There's no fucking way around that. Okay, so I'm looking at my list, and how much does he? Or like, John, what do you have left? Like, you don't have to tell me what you have, but just like general, what do you got left?
Oh.
A smaller chunk.
Okay.
A handful of games I want to say a little.
Okay. What about you, Rhett?
One more game.
Okay. I'm going to probably just go one more game then. And then I'll tack the next one on next episode or something. Because I played a whole bunch of the 2 games that I have left, and I don't really want to sit here and monologue about both of them. So I'll probably just pick one.
I've certainly monologued a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
know. I just don't know what your other one is, Polly, because I know one of them, obviously, because I played a bit of it.
Yeah, you played a bit of it. That's probably the one I'll talk about. So I'll save the other one for the next time.
It's the theme, Polly.
Yeah, it's the theme. Okay. All right, are we good?
Me! I'm next.
Are we good then? Are we good to get back? Are we good to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. We're good to podcast.
Let me transition then.
Sorry.
Please. Okay, so throw it back to my good pal, John Thayer.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Little old you. Little old you.
Little old me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to talk about video games on a podcast?
You can do that if you want to. I'm not going to stop you. I'm here to grant you I'm here to grant you this solemn right.
Tango Despite Zero Ranger.
Good choice. Good choice.
So I've just been on a nonstop arcade binge, basically. It started right before I left for Christmas. I played a bunch of Eschatos,
mm-hmm.
which is the second game or not second, but the big game after Judgment Silver Sword by that team. Judgment Silver Sword extremely inspired my shmup Expanse. The way it's structured, the way it plays, it really resonated with me, even though it was way too hard for me.
That was a Wonder Swan game, wasn't it?
Yep.
That's what I thought. It got a Steam release.
PC port.
Yeah, it got a PC report recently, I think.
But it's still definitely a Wonder Swan game, which is very cool.
Yeah. So you played Eschatos.
And it plays the same in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
The big thing that differentiates Eschatos and Judgment Silver Sword, it's got a bunch of little stages. It flashes like Area 1, and then 30 seconds later, Area 2, 40 seconds later, Area 3. It still ultimately divides into stages 5 stages pretty neatly, but I think that bit of flavor is very cute. And B is that they are built around very fast enemy patterns and very nuanced enemy patterns.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty straightforward and clear. I really like how it works. It's not so much like bullet hell stuff, basically. It feels a little more classic than that, I guess.
Yeah.
And I lifted a lot of that feel, trying to capture a lot of that when I made a shmup. So it really resonates with me. It really feels good.
Mm-hmm. And
I played just a shit ton of Eschatos, and I was like, okay, yeah, this Eschatos is 2.5D, so it's really pretty. Zero's indie studio 3D shmup, which is just one of my favorite aesthetics, basically.
Yeah. The view changing, because I looked up some videos of this, and it was the view changing really surprised me at how well that they make it work, but you because it does kind of have moments where they're throwing a whole bunch of bullets at you, but you don't really feel that those camera changes are fucking with your view any. You can still dodge in the way that you would normally dodge. It looks like it looks like they made sure that shit was impressive looking, but it also worked mechanically.
They handle it very tactfully. I really like how it works, while still looking super gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ulti Next Second is similar.
Yeah.
So I loved that. It was, again, just a little too hard for me. I think this one feels a lot more doable than Judgment Silver Sword, though. So I kind of want to return to it at some point. So I was getting a little burnt out, and I dipped back to Kamui, which is the first of the Cider Skate trilogy. The second one is Reflex.
Yeah.
Famously declared as what's the word that means trash?
Kusoge.
Famously declared as Kusoge by Red on the podcast. I like it a lot. It was my first Cider Skate game. Very obviously Brave Force inspired.
Oh yeah.
Lot of only instead of aiming at enemies in the background, you charge your gun and it shoots all enemies at them in the background. It feels like Alicia Dragoon, but with Brave Force, where you're just like,
yeah.
And it feels really good. And the way you balance that with your gun and your laser, which draw on the same meter in interesting ways, is really cool. I just really love the whole verb set in that game a lot. And it is just this really fast-paced 30-minute shmup with just a really dope last gauntlet of bosses. And I actually learned the last boss this time, and it was really, really hard, but that was the part where I kept... the first time I played it, I beat in 2 credits, and I spent one of them just all of the lives on the last boss.
Oh, yeah.
So I finally just sat down, and I learned it, and then I beat the game, and it felt really good.
Nice.
So that felt good. That was my first Ciders game, 1cc. Made the others feel more attainable. And I just lived in Helsinki for 2 weeks.
Good place to be, it sounds like.
Yep, and then I left that. I 1 credit. I beat both extra stages, and then 1 credited the whole game with the true last boss. And I was like, all right. And then there's a specific epilogue text, and that's like, okay, the game is completely over. You won.
You did it. Good job. Go do something else now.
Just the kind of the opposite of Hades. It sounds like.
Oh yeah.
Well, you play this for 25 hours. You have finished. Congratulations. I guess you can play upping the rank if you want. You can learn the other characters, but you finished the story. Congrats. There are 3 whole other characters, by the way, in Helsinki that all have completely different verb sets.
And one of them literally has 4 different verb sets.
There are like 7.
Yeah, there's literally 7 characters, but 1 character is 4 characters.
Yep. And again, it's all like weirdo treasure shit. It's not like normal.
There is no hold the button to shoot character. There is no press button to bomb character. This isn't fun. Like, this game is just like hold the shoot button, then tap the bomb button 4 times, then release, and then you'll do something special.
Release this invincibility sphere. While you're inside the sphere for 2 seconds, you're invulnerable to all bullets. Then you can activate the secondary sphere, which destroys all enemies within it. I saw a fan guide that was like, for a Mino game, tap the B button to shoot their regular gun. Do not do this.
Don't do this ever.
It is always more advantageous to shoot with their regular attack, which is shoot with their sub-weapon attack.
Yeah.
Which generates like a sphere of torment.
I ran into this guide while I was looking up ways to troubleshoot my frames problem, so I know exactly what guide you're talking about.
Very, very funny. I finally was posting bits from this, and I had a friend go, this is starting to feel like that game isn't real, and you have just been doing it a lot. Which is joyous to even consider. So I finished Helsinki completely, and then I was like, well, fuck. I still want to play shmups. And nothing was quite sticking. Like, I played a chunk of Mushihime-sama, which seems great. That's the cave game where you play as a bug princess, and all of the enemies are different weird bugs. Right. And I like that. It gets really hard.
Really fast. Like, every cave game is literally the first 2 stages are brain dead easy. You get to stage 3. Okay, now you're actually playing the video game.
And it's murderous.
Yep.
So I'm figuring that out. Maybe I will later. It seems like it's one of the more accessible, approachable 1 credit clears for cave shmups.
It's definitely one of the ones that I hear most people who are more experts on the matter. Mushihime-sama is kind of like the most attainable,
especially since I love the aesthetic.
Right.
And it's also just very straightforward. It's literally like you shoot, you collect a power up.
Yeah, there's nothing too weird here.
And it's short. It's like it's very clean.
Yeah.
So I tried that. It wasn't really clicking. I got Danmaku Unlimited 3 on my phone because like it always kind of annoyed me that I didn't clear it because it was it seemed like pretty straightforward, but I got bored with it, so I didn't finish it.
Man, those games are so... I'm a Danmaku game.
Sterile.
That's all I am. There's nothing special about me. My aesthetic is I have bullets. Lots of them. Sometimes my attacks are like... Sometimes my attack patterns are like a cave game. Sometimes they're like a Toho game.
It feels the most like the thing you really want to avoid, I think, with these games is making it feel like you're just moving a mouse cursor between lights. And I feel like that more than any shmup, it does so little to distinguish its setting and world that it really just feels like I'm moving a cursor around in between some lights.
It feels like a piece of software used to like show people what bullet hell games are by just a dictionary definition.
Oh God.
It is a Wikipedia article of a video game.
That said, I think it's got some patterns that feel really good to me. It does, especially in the last 4 stages, it does a lot with macro dodging, which I think is really cool, where it just like blocks huge swaths of the screen and makes you make big sweeping movements around them, which is what Hellsinker does all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It feels a lot better playing it on my phone, because then the ways that the default mode just kind of iron out all the systems, flatten them, it actually makes sense when you're playing it on a phone and you have like 2 buttons, maybe 1 button and movement maybe. So maybe I can get through that. That would be nice. And then I picked up the cross on my back, Thundercross. Thundercross. Because I have the Konami Arcade Collection on my Switch, and I have cleared. I had two looped Scramble. I cleared Gradius. I cleared Life Force. I cleared Twinbee even. And the next one, I was like, oh, Thundercross, this one is famously really easy. I will just polish this one off, and it'll be like a quick ego-boosting arcade clear.
Just knock it out.
That was a year ago.
Yeah.
What, Bolly?
Just knock it out in a day.
Just knock it out in a day. There are no trivial arcade clears because arcade games are really hard. So even the easy ones...
They're still really fucking hard.
Are still really fucking hard. So all told, I probably sank. I did clear it. I did clear Thundercross in 1 credit. And I was like, and I didn't feel much from it.
Yeah, Thundercross is kind of boring.
It's really boring, huh?
Yeah. It's just
it's so sleepy.
Yeah, I never got why. Like, I've had that game recommended to me a number of times over the years, and it's just like, man, this is just kind of boring.
Feels extremely. The A team was making Gradius, and then the C team was making Thundercross.
Yeah.
Was making Gradius 2, which came out the same year.
Oh wow!
Yeah, brutal. It's just so sleepy. It's so sedate. To the point where like you can recover when you die. And actually, the game kind of becomes fun whenever you lose all your power-ups, because then it's like it turns into an actual shmup where you have to pay attention. whereas with like Gradius and R-Type, it's a fun shmup. And then you die. And then you get completely murdered. Thundercross is like, oh, it's fun. And then you get the power-ups, and it's like, oh, okay.
Okay. Just going to hold the fire button down here for another 2 minutes until the next boss appears.
But even then, like, it's easy to beef it because there's no shield or anything.
Yeah.
So if you let one enemy get through your barrage of fully powered up murder, and it fires off an aimed bullet, and you don't dodge it, then that's it.
Yep.
And so you have to stay engaged, even though it's very easy and straightforward.
You have to stay engaged just enough to the point of not being in a coma.
To the point of not being to just have to not fall asleep, and then remember, all right, here's the part where I die every time. All right, let's No, okay, I'm paying attention. Paying attention.
Let me tap down.
I made it through.
Let me tap down to move my ship down 23 pixels so that I don't get hit by that one aimed bullet coming my way. All right, we are
good. Okay, now we can relax. Now we can relax for another 2 minutes. Okay. Whew, that was hard. It's really... yeah, go ahead, Rhett.
Time for a no power-up run.
God, it's... Oh. It has one idea I really like, which is that when you're fully powered up, the power-up items give you super powerful weapons that have limited ammo. So it's kind of like Super Zalixer.
Yeah, this predates it a bit, so I won't take credit for that one.
But it makes power-up items continue mattering after fully powered up, which I think is cute. The downside is that the fully powered up weapons are generally not as good as your regular. Those super weapons are generally not as good as your regular weapons, so you don't wind up avoiding them anyway.
That's not very super.
No.
No. So, oh my god, I posted a clip that was 30 seconds of the last level where I just sat still.
Just sat in the fucking
last level.
In the last level. It's so... On my first playthrough getting back, I beat levels 5 and 6 of 7 on my first try without dying after being away from it for a year. Honestly, like the big choke points are like level 3 and 4. Once you get through that, it's a lot more straightforward, unless you fall asleep, and then and then the last boss is bullshit, just on top of everything. And most importantly, most crucially, there's a very cute bit of boss theming where a crystal flies in from the left side of the screen and inhabits the boss of each level.
Yes!
Kind of like Dr. Robotnik in Sonic 1.
Yep.
So you're chasing this crystal, and then it flies out of the enemy when you beat them. So you're chasing this crystal through the whole game, and it just doesn't show up.
Yep, they don't fucking do anything with it at the end. They just fucking gave up.
They just gave up. They had this cute bit of theming, and then just nothing.
Now I'm mad. The game could be offensively boring, but then you fuck that up.
It's such a cute thing. It was so easy. It's like if you were playing Sonic 1 and you fight Dr. Robotnik just at the end of every world, and then in stage 6 at the end you just fight a dinosaur. It just walks on your screen and there's a T-Rex, and then Dr. Robotnik is nowhere to be seen in the ending or the whole last level.
Yeah, they don't even.
It's so dumb.
There's a Thundercross 2.
I hear Thundercross 2 is a lot better.
Return of the Diamond.
Narf told me I would probably have a better time with the narrative theming based on my disappointment with the crystal.
Right.
In 2.
Yeah.
So I've got a spreadsheet of Konami shmups, so I'm like, I might get to that one. I want to do Gradius 2 on my collection.
Oh, that game's so good. I love Gradius 2.
Yeah. I think you said it was your favorite Gradius.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
I think that game's gonna be a blast to learn. It's the longest game on the collection, so I think it's gonna be a beefy one whenever I do dive in, but I think it's gonna be a blast. And I think I'm ready for it. I think I've got the chops now.
Oh yeah.
I have one more action game, because I dipped into that SNK collection and had some fun with there. And I was like, just trying to find the right thing. And then on a whim, I was just like, I've been watching a bunch of Doom speedrun videos and stuff on Doom, and I was like, maybe I'll try Doom. I asked a friend. I asked was he was really into Doom. Hey, what port should I use? And they listed off like 3 different source ports from by fans over the last like 10 years, and like, well, here's, if you like this, then go with this version. If you want this, then go with this version. If you want this, then go with this version, which is what I got Googling around. And then I found out that the official Steam release got a really nice Unity redone engine. That's just extremely slick.
Yeah, that surprised me. I was not expecting that.
I booted up, immediately worked with my controller, immediately was running smooth. Just incredibly slick. It feels great, and it feels like it felt authentic-y to me. It didn't feel like I tried playing Jeezy Doom, and it felt a little too new, I guess.
You can like I use GZ Doom, and you can basically turn off all of the modern things that adds, because that's how I play it. I just like turn off everything like mouse look and things like that, and jumping, and I just remove all that.
Oh, okay. That was the thing I was that was probably what irked me right. I was like, no, Doom's not about mouse look.
Yeah, you can disable all of that in the options.
Huh.
Okay. So I'm sure the source ports are fucking great. I'm sure that there's a lot of them, and GZ Doom's great, and I'm sure that I know that people put a lot of love into them, and that's fantastic. It was just very nice when I was like, I just want to play Doom, and then it turned out that like 3 months ago there was an official, really well done update on the version of Doom that I own.
That you own, yeah. That just makes it super convenient, yeah.
Yeah. And I played a whole bunch of the first episode, and my experience with id shooters, with shooters in this style, which I'm bringing up, even though it won't be relevant at all for the rest of the episode. We can talk about it now. Is like 7 years ago or something, I played through Doom 1, and like a little bit later, I played through Quake 1. And the way I did it was that I had the quick save and quick load keys at the ready. I think I played all of Doom 1 on a keyboard, and it didn't feel super great.
Yeah, I can feel that.
Frank, the Unity version, you can, in the launcher, it literally just says run Unity, run new version, or run the DOS version. So you can just load the DOS version straight from Steam. So it definitely doesn't replace the DOS version. You can load it up in DOSBox.
Yeah, they're not 3D Realms here. They're not Gearbox. They're not fucking people over here. You could still have the old version.
No. Exactly. So when you play 36 maps of Doom, or however many are in the first 3 episodes, and then 4 episodes of Quake in a row, quick saving and quick loading whenever you get to a hard part, not really luxuriating in any of the spaces or maps, I think they're pretty boring.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That is the worst way to engage with these games.
Yes, and that was how I did it, and especially Quake. That just became a chore.
Yeah.
Just because it was longer. And I did not have any real relationship with the games, and I put them down like, well, I have experienced Doom.
I did it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Frank. Frank in the chat said, God, that's the only way I engage with these games. Yeah, Polly?
I didn't say anything.
No shade. So I was coming right off the action. I'm right in the middle of the action game kick, and I was like, all right, why don't we like closely engage with this? And I've spent like all weekend. I played each Doom map really closely in that first episode, looking for secrets, and I tried to fill in the map as much as I could. So I like found the secrets in the first map, which I'm sure everyone has completely memorized.
Oh yeah.
But it was really satisfying. And then once I did that, I went back and I tried to get to the par times. And the first 4 maps, that's really easy.
Oh yeah.
It's like, all right. And then after at like maps 5 and 6, it becomes like, oh no, you got to be real good.
Yeah, you actually got to just know the maps in and out. You've got to be able to move very quickly through swaths of very dangerous enemies.
Yeah, that was where I finally tapped out of trying to hit the par times. Is like, oh, it needs me to. The only way I can figure out how to get through these enemies consistently is to park my butt and kill them.
Yeah.
Shoot them. Good advice.
I mean, as a first-person shooter, I would expect shooting to be an integral part of this experience.
But I had like a couple runs where I managed to like squeeze through them, and I was like, oh, I don't feel like trying to.
That's not gonna be fun to keep trying to do.
That's not gonna be fun. I'm not gonna try to hit these part times. I'm gonna try to. Basically, I went through each map and learned the critical path. Which was really satisfying because they're really mazy. The way that all the maps in the first episode are really cool in the way that they like sprawl out while still like constantly feeding into itself, while still guiding you around through to the different keys.
Yeah, you always kind of feel like maybe I'm lost.
Mm-hmm. And then you
pop out.
Like, oh,
yeah, you pop out somewhere where you remember. It's like, oh, okay, I'm back here.
It's really cool. It feels really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that, and then I played through the whole game. I played through the whole episode without dying.
Nice.
And that felt real good. I didn't the first time through. I also didn't save it all.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, okay, if I die, I'll just restart the level and I'll find new weapons. And that happened a couple times, and it was like, all right, cool. I don't know why I didn't just do this.
Yeah, like all the levels are made to be able to be beaten from a pistol start. So like even if you fucking die and lose all your shit, it's not any real like yeah, it sucks obviously, but every map is made to be able to be beaten from a pistol start.
And you get a shotgun almost immediately in every map.
So, yeah.
And the shotgun feels extremely good, huh?
Of course it does. It's iconic.
Hey, did you all know the shotgun in Doom feels really good?
Yeah, get that double barrel super shotgun in Doom 2. Feels even nicer.
Very good. So that I'm in the second episode now, and it's also really fun. It immediately starts with the teleporter maze, and I'm like, yes. I think the second episode, it already feels a little more complicated.
Oh yeah,
more mazy, and I think that it's going to get to a point where I don't feel like I can just learn the critical path and keep that in my brain with the first episode.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be the case going forward.
Mm-hmm. But I think I can still try it. At the very least, get through the maps without saving.
Mm-hmm.
Without quick saving, and what was I thinking? Get through the maps without quick saving, and that'll feel good on its own. And then maybe try to do the whole episode if I'm feeling gumptiony.
Right.
Because that felt really good. It feels really good to like actually spend some time with the levels and think about them as like action game set pieces, as opposed to just
like just like bashing your face in from encounter to encounter. You got God mode on, you're saving and loading, you got all the ammo and you got all the keys. Like everybody engaged with those games kind of the same way growing up, I think.
Mm-hmm. That's really funny because I did this in a chat where I was like, and I said, oh yeah, I just kind of quick save mushed my way through, and people didn't just play through these games once. They had the shareware episode. They couldn't afford the new one. They played the hell out of the shareware episode over and over. Yep. And they learned it. They learned.
You just get real fucking good at Knee Deep in the Dead.
Mm-hmm. And then their friend replied, "No, I'm pretty sure a lot of people just put on God mode and fucked around."
That too.
I'm sure that's true for a lot of folks. But yeah, I think just living in the stages is doing a lot more to show me why these games are good and why why they resonate with people.
Right.
And I think I'm really excited to spend more time with them.
Fantastic.
So that's where I'm at.
That's good.
Action Game City.
Like Doom is a good place to kind of like you started your journey with Hellsinker, and now you're on Doom. I think you got 2021 off to a pretty good start.
Yeah, it feels good. Well, Polly, I'm sure there's nothing.
There's nothing I can
transition to that would be like really smooth from that.
I don't know how I could possibly follow that up. So, I mean, I guess the only other thing
you don't have any. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You don't have any games that are like kind of in like a hellish locale. I mean, we had 3 of those. We had a game with Hell in the name.
I did. Actually, I think I might. I might actually. Now that I think about it, now that it just jumped out at me. I had to stop and think for a moment. But yeah, I think I might have actually played something that took place in a bit of a hellish landscape.
Is it a first-person shooter?
Well, surely it doesn't
with a 4-letter name.
Goddamn, Rhett. How did you know? Yeah, it's a first-person shooter with a 4-letter name that takes place in a bit of a hellish landscape. Thanks to our good pal John, who sent me this for Christmas, I played Dusk. So Dusk is...
This is a cold shot. This is a cold shot because you don't put anything on your wish list.
Yeah, I
like gifts.
I do that on purpose. It doesn't stop anybody. I don't know why. Like, they do it anyway. They just send shit anyway. So it's like, God damn it. But yeah. Dusk is, like, I was aware of this game. It's just, I'd never thought to pick it up myself because it kind of like, it's a throwback FPS to the days of, like, Doom, Quake, Hexen, Blood. So I just kind of like, I kind of looked at it a bit cynically, like, oh, okay, you're doing that thing where you're just making the game that you played when you were 14. I got you. That's cool. You can do that. But no, that's not really like what I would call this. I came into this thinking maybe this is going to be a lot more cynical than it ended up being. This ended up being not. Oh. This ended up being not that at all. Cool. This is a game that obviously does take all of those influences and wear them on its sleeve. It's not the least bit. It doesn't shy away from that at all. It's drenched in 90s FPS aesthetic. Like, it's trying to look like a 90s FPS with its lower like polygon counts. Yeah. It's very blocky textures. They try to emulate a lot of color palettes and stuff. I don't think any of those filters are actually very good. But they have. Pardon?
I didn't even see those filters that you're talking about.
Yeah, there's like filters where you can try to like bring it down to 16 color mode, but it's like this really awful.
Oh no!
It doesn't look good because it's just it's Unity trying to do a filter / shader. Yeah. Rather than something that's kind of like baked in or that they made other assets for. It just looks real bad. But like, yeah, like this is 90s FPS aesthetic. Like, there's demons, there's metal, there's jibs everywhere. Everything explodes real nice.
Yeah.
Like, one look at the screenshots in the video and like, you know what you're getting into. It's like on the 10. There's no second guessing. You're not gonna be like, you know what you're getting. But I said, like, I think that the original vision of this game was just recreating that type of old school shooter though, because like it comes with a couple of demos where it kind of feels like that's the direction it's headed, where like the level design feels very Quake 1. The way that the guns work and feel kind of feels like Doom and Quake 1, and they weren't really, like, there wasn't a lot of ambition to be more than just a throw, like, we're gonna be that game. But thankfully, at some point, I don't know when, like, it sort of found its own unique voice, and like, it's easily recognizable as like a fantastic it's a fantastic homage to its inspirations. It does a lot of like similar things that those games do. Like, hey, we've got a super shotgun. We've got simple enemy designs where they're just gonna swarm you. We got rocket jumping. But it doesn't just like make that its entire identity and call it a day. And that's kind of what really like made me happy. And I think that like the big thing that makes this work is it's got an incredible atmosphere. Like, this is like, like, do you want your runny gunny demon cult first person shooter drenched with a lot of atmosphere? And like, what really made me appreciate this game a lot is like how it sort of gradually weaves in that twisted nature of its setting into its maps and level designs. Like we always talk about a progression toward like when you have like a setup like this where it's like demonic or it's like aliens, and when things start getting weirder and weirder the more you dig into it, like, that's a cool thing. So it's like the further into the game you get, the more weird and unsettling like the setting gets, and they play around with various gimmicks and one-off ideas and levels to keep things interesting. Like something that this game does that that I think is really rare is that it will introduce like a new mechanic, and it's just for that part, and it's not for the rest of the game. So it's like there's nothing, like they don't introduce a lot of mechanics that end up being permanent. It's just this interesting one-off compartmentalized idea to make this one area feel like a unique piece of the story. And it makes it stand out a whole lot more. It makes those moments super duper memorable. And I don't want to spoil them, obviously, because like those are like a big part of the game's identity, and this is a game that I want people to play for themselves. But I think that like just right off, like this game does like a fantastic job of weaving its gameplay and the narrative together in some really smart ways that maybe couldn't have been achieved in 1995. Like, I don't know, or like we just weren't thinking at that level at this point, because this game obviously has the benefit of having 26 years of other first-person shooters to look at and go, okay, how do I make this, like, how do I contextualize all this in a more meaningful way? And that's kind of what I think Dusk is doing. What really makes this game like super recommendable for me, though, is I feel like we were just talking about like FPS map design, and with like older design specifically, like you said, you start running into like a lot of unpleasant tropes, like they really bog down games, like Doom 2 and Quake. Like the further you get into those games, for instance, I feel like they just get bogged down and almost insufferable, where like the levels kind of just become labyrinthine, and it's just like, oh, I gotta go find the hidden wall for the key or something, and it's just the levels start feeling like more of a to-do than they need to be, I guess. And especially like with 3D Realms games, like goddamn, Duke Nukem 3D levels can go suck an ass a lot of times. Like, Jesus Christ. But maps start like they started becoming over-designed, overly mazy, super reliant on key hunts, backtracking, and like Dusk does engage with a lot of those same ideas, but what I think makes it unique is that it keeps its map size very small. Not like claustrophobic, but the maps are... Oh, there's a belch for you. Enjoy that. Like every map feels like it's trying to evoke those feelings you got from Doom 1 Episode 1, where the levels are small, but they'd cleverly wrap around in on themselves to keep you on the critical path, even though you might feel like, I don't know, I'm probably lost out here in the middle of nowhere. Who knows where I'm at? And then you pop out, and you're just like, oh no, I'm back in the main hub somehow. And there's like a good, like, if you want to explore, there's like a good set of, you know, this game's got secrets all over the place if you just poke around the right corners, or sometimes you'll, oh, hey, that wall, that looks real weird, and you go press the texture, and it's like, oh, the wall raises up, there you go. But the thing with Dusk maps is that since it's not like restrained to having to work with like maybe small texture and tile sets and the like, it can have more unique assets. Every map has unique things that you can use as landmarks to sort of easily always find your way around. So, like, if you need to go somewhere, and then, like, by the time you reach the end of a level, you can easily sort of retrace it in your head. You can look back and, like, okay, I know where that's at. I know where that's at. I need, like, if I need to go back there, I remember where that red door I saw was because there was this church nearby, and things like that. Like, all of the levels in Dusk feel like a place and not a labyrinth. So, like, what, and with like the small level design, with the levels being like brisk, but still very dense. Like these levels aren't just like it's like a small level with like 10 or 20 enemies in it. Like there are maps in this thing that's got like 300 enemies in it. It's like they're still really dense levels, but they're small and compact and smartly designed to the point to where getting around and through each of them only takes you maybe 10 to 15 minutes. So I could sit down and play this game for like 15 minutes to half an hour at a time, put it down, come back another hour or two later, and then just still be enjoying it. It's brisk, but it's dense, and like it's giving you just the right balance. And I wasn't expecting that. Like, it just caught me off guard. Like halfway through episode 1, I was just like, I'm surprised at how like small these maps are. Is this something that's just gonna like? Are you just like easing me into it here? But then it's like halfway into episode 2, no, these maps are still relatively small, but they're working really well with what they have. And I don't know, like, if the maps are small just because you can't maybe do big maps in Unity or something. I don't know. But it feels more like a conscious design decision of, like, hey, like, some of that older map design gets a little up its own ass sometimes. And another thing I like about it is that it still rewards, like, old school thinking. Like, you can do rocket jumps and stuff. Like, there were a couple of points where I found that you could bypass a key door if you know how to rocket jump. Like, wow. Like, and they'll just let you do it. But it's not heavily incentivized to do it. Like, it doesn't, like, it's not required on the main path. It doesn't, like, expect that only like first person shooter diehards are playing this. And something else I think is super smart is there are no hit scan enemies. None whatsoever. Every projectile, every attack in this game is dodgeable, and that is fantastic. Like, and there's an untouched achievement for every level, I think. So you can actually and like you can do other fun shit too. Like, you can use your melee weapon to bounce attacks back at enemies.
Really?
Yeah, you can use your hooks and shoot fireballs back at enemies. It feels really good. It's so fucking cool. And there are so many points like there's like debris and shit laying all over the place that you can pick up and throw at enemies to do damage or just to completely kill him. Or like another fun thing is to like pick up an explosive barrel, throw it, and then shoot it out of the air and blow up like 10 enemies at once. Like, this game sets you up to do so much cool shit. And it's still kind of, but it still has those trappings of like that 1995, 96 era of first person shooters where it's still fast and it's still like it's got like, man, this game is doing all the right shit. It's so good.
Cool. I need to play more of this.
Yeah, you played a bit.
The more the more you talked about it, which is a good sign.
But it's just like this. It's so smart. Like, it feels like this is a game that really did learn from the people that have issues with those older school games and the things that can get really obtuse or annoying or just really bog them down. Dusk basically manages to avoid all of it and then come out with not only just being a fantastic homage to that era of first-person shooter, but like having its own unique voice and identity with how, through its presentation, through its really smart level design. I think like maybe the enemy designs are lacking a little bit. I think that they're a little samey, they're a little understated. But they still blow up really good. It's real fun. It's real fun to blow them up, and the game's got a really cool final boss fight that I was really happy with.
Yes. That is such a tricky needle to thread in these games.
Yeah, because all the other the 2 episodes before the last one do have end bosses, and they're not so great. They're just kind of like, oh hey, do you like this enemy? We made a bigger one. It's kind of
like.
Yeah.
It's not like Doom and Quake do good in that department.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, but then you get to the final boss, and it's just like the whole final episode's last 5 or so levels have a real great narrative build up, and they start doing even more crazy things with the environment and the way you interact with it that just keep it like just super engaging start to finish. Like this game, like this is not a game that I was expecting to enjoy as much as I did, and it ended up just blowing me the fuck away. Just super good. Yeah,
that rules.
Yeah, love this game to bits. It's super good. Smart.
That was a good John Gift episode.
Yeah,
such a Zero Ranger.
Zero Ranger. Like, yeah, goddamn, John. Yeah, you were literally the highlight of my new year.
Aw. You can clip that one, Rhett.
There you go.
I think I gifted you Dragon Quest XI the year before that, so don't praise me too much.
I don't hate Dragon Quest XI. It's just it's fine for what it is. It's just not going to be the first RPG I choose to play when I want to replay an RPG.
Just isn't going to be the first game I want to play when I want to play something fun.
Maybe that too. Hey, Sylvando and Veronica are fantastic. I loved them. They were great characters.
Mm-hmm. I did not mean to change the topic to a game you didn't like. You got like the more and more you talked about Dusk, the more like joy came through in your voice, and it was really nice to listen to. It really did seem like you clicked with it a whole lot.
Yeah, like I really, I loved this game. Like it was so good. Like I was almost sad when it ended, but at the same time, it's just like, I don't think I would need more of this. I think this is fine. This is a solid 10-hour experience. I don't need more of that. Like just the level design, man, it's so smart. Yeah. Small levels that are just really, really identifiable. Like, that's such a cool idea and such a smart way to take this project that looked like it was starting as something that could have been just really boring. And then they kind of pulled that out, and it's just like, then you made real good levels.
I think when you're trying to make every level have a unique gimmick, like it's definitely good to not outstay your welcome and maybe fall into reusing stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't fall into reusing anything. Like I said, a lot of the gimmicks that this game does, like it brings a couple of them back. Like there are these vertical, like there's an item that you can get that lets you climb any wall. And they do that like 2 or 3 times. There's like at some points you'll break your flashlight and have to navigate in the dark. I'm waiting for Rhett to get baby scared. That this game's also
Polly, here's the thing about this game with me. I'm baby scared from level 1.
This game's got really.
This game is actually pretty thick. I was already like, "Ooh, this is a little too scary for me."
This game's got really good. This game's got really good sound design as well.
Yeah.
Like it's got that kind of like, okay, like every enemy's got a unique sound, so I know who's coming from where. Like it's panned properly so that like, okay, I hear it and I know how to react to it. So yeah, like just everything about this game from top to bottom is just incredibly smart.
I have a totally random question. I found a secret like halfway through episode 1 that changed my melee weapon to a sword.
Oh, dude, the sword is so good.
The sword gets me killed because I just want to run up to enemies and then they fucking point blank shotgun me and I lose like all my health.
Well, don't do that to the guys with shotguns, but you can fucking go ham on every other enemy type.
I'm very bad at first-person shooters.
God, the sword is so good. I think that you can only get. I think the game only gives you that on the critical path in episode 3.
Huh?
Like
I definitely felt like, this is an actual secret.
Yeah, I think the Riveter. Like you only find the Riveter as a secret in episode 1, which is like the last weapon. And I think that you can only find the sword in episodes 1 and 2 as secrets, but at the start of episode 3, they just give you the sword.
Nice.
And then they make you use it for most of that episode, and the levels are based around. It's really fucking cool. The crossbow is a jam too. That's such a good fucking weapon. What a fun video game.
I watched the trailer while you're talking. Just was like, this looks really good. This looks really cool.
Yeah, like this game
Dope.
is... Yeah. This game's a fucking jam. I think you'll love it, John. And I think, Rhett, even though you might suck at it, I think you'll find a lot to like here if you continue on to like episodes 2 and 3. To give you kind of an idea, I'll only spoil one. They have a level that's named the Escher Institute.
Oh boy!
And when I went into that level, I thought, oh, that's cute. They're not going. Oh my god, they did it, and they made it work. So there you go. I'll leave that. I'll leave you with that thought. I played another game, but I'll leave that on the back burner and talk about that next time. It's not super high priority, and I don't want to like push this thing over to be like 3.5 hours or something. So I'll go ahead and close my segment out and throw it over to Rhett one last time.
Oh,
Rhett.
Hello.
Hey,
I had something else.
You forgot you had something else.
No, I
didn't.
Really.
I didn't. I know what your other thing else is, and I'm interested in hearing about it.
Oh boy. So I played a game.
Yeah.
An interesting little mashup of two things. This game is called Murder by Numbers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this game.
It is.
I've played so much of this game.
Game I've played significantly more of than Hades.
You played this for 50 hours!
I have 52 hours in this game on Steam. I finally beat it.
That is fucking wild to me.
Now keep in mind, sometimes, especially on vacation, I might open a game and then tab away and do something else for a bit and then come back to it like an hour later.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't necessarily think I have 50 played hours in this. I might probably have at least 40 though. Like I don't think I.
Brett, tell us what is Murder by Numbers. Tell us all so that we can join, so that the entire audience can cream their pants over it, and I can sit over here and go, oh.
Well, Tengu Gemini says it in chat. Oh hell yeah, Picross.
I have, and I'll be the moderate here and say I have no opinion one way or the other on Picross.
Okay.
I am a dedicated Picross hater.
Okay.
I want that to be a part of my brand.
We run the gamut here then.
Okay.
The Sockscast, your most complete Picross opinion spectrum.
Fair and balanced.
Absolutely.
Right, go for it.
So, Murder by Numbers is a Picross game with a storyline. Mm-hmm. It's very similar to like you're doing murder investigations. It's kind of like Ace Attorney, mm-hmm. but like without the courtroom stuff, just the investigation parts.
So it's Ace Attorney investigations.
Well, I haven't played that either.
Oh,
they didn't.
Okay.
But basically, it's kind of visual novel-y, and then a whole bunch. It goes, okay, time to do some Picross.
Oh! That reminds me of a Picross, Luke.
So the thing in the Layton games is that the puzzles, especially in the first game, don't really have anything to do with the storyline whatsoever.
Yeah, they didn't really nail that until 2.
They got better as they went along, even though there's like 6 Layton games. Nobody actually played all of them.
I played 1 and 2.
I played the first 4.
No, wait, I think I played the third one too.
You would know if you played the third one, because that's the best one anyways. I think you only played 1 too.
Okay.
So the thing about this Picross in this is that it's actually pretty well justified towards the beginning. Once you get past the fact that it's Picross, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. But basically your character has this robot buddy named Scout, and he scans the environment for clues, and then those clues show up as Picross puzzles that you have to solve. Like, so there's some connection to like scanning sometimes it's like, oh, we need to x-ray this bag. And then you scan it, and then it does the Picross puzzle, and they go, oh, there's a bomb in there, or whatever.
We're going to disarm the bomb with Picross?
Yeah. Well, we're going to know that the bomb is in there, and then there's a different Picross puzzle, a timed one to defuse the bomb.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah. There's a couple timed puzzles. You can never actually fail them, though. You just have to start over.
Oh.
They're just, even at I think the very last one of the game is like, oh, no, we've got to stop the hacker. And then, oh, I failed. Do it again.
Just do it again.
Stop him. It just repeats infinitely until you get it. So, John was asking me about this game because, as he has explained, Picross hater here.
Oh yeah.
Does not like Picross. So there's 4 episodes in the game. So after the first one, two friends were asking about Leanne and John, and I'm like, yeah, this is pretty good. It's about a 50-50 balance between Picross and story stuff, like the visual novel side. The further you get into the game, the more that 50-50 balance starts to lean towards Picross.
30-70.
30-70. By the end, it might be like 90-10.
Oh, no!
There's so much Picross in this game.
Oh, I feel like if being a Picross / visual novel / murder mystery game is your thing, you need to just keep that balance because that's what makes you unique.
Because what happened for me, so I'm not Picross expert. This is only the second Picross game I've played.
Right.
The other one I fell off of after a couple hours because it got too hard for me. Because it was like doing larger puzzles that were also timed, and it was just like, this is too much for me if I'm not used to these. So at least like the huge puzzles in this will have no time limit, but then I'm taking like half an hour on some of the really tricky ones.
Oh.
And I also played with no assists on whatsoever, so that if you put, and this, I think it's kind of only the fun way to play these is having the possibility of being wrong.
Yeah.
Because in the other Picross game I played, I forget what it was called, like number something. The instant you clicked on a wrong square, it would immediately let you know that you fucked up, and then give you like 1 of 3 strikes. And if you struck out, you had to start the whole thing over.
Oh, jeez.
But then the puzzle was the same. So what's the actual?
Yeah, like punishment? What's the actual point here?
So in this, I turned all the assists off, and it's just like it'll just let you go. To do the puzzle wrong, and then it's a little scary when you're really getting towards the end. And you're just like, this doesn't add up correctly.
Oh no!
Where did I fuck up?
This is not the fish that I was thinking it was.
That's the other thing of this is that the puzzles are they don't look like anything.
Oh no! Like, that's not how Picross works.
Like in theory they do, but because they're focused on making challenging puzzles towards the end.
Oh, it's just abstract garbage.
It's just really abstracted when it's like, oh, you found, a computer device, but they put it at like a 42-degree angle.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, almost everything towards the end would be like, if they just did it on a straight-on angle, it would just be a bunch of lines and really easy, but everything is like weird angular shapes that are a nightmare in Picross when you get like...
Yeah.
Like a line will be like 6 1s and 2s, and it's just like the Picross has a difficulty curve in this that is extremely like well developed for a Picross game. Like obviously it's going to start super easy, and then by towards the end of episode 1 they get a little tricky. You have to think about it a bit.
Right.
By the end of episode 4, like episode 4 in general is entirely 15 by 15 grid. And it just becomes so much Picross.
Ooh.
And then I actually counted towards the end. By the end of episode 4, I had 40 pieces of evidence, which means I did 40
Picross.
40 15 by 15. The very final one is actually like 15 by 20.
Oh, Jesus.
They actually do an even bigger one for the finale. It's just... The problem is, it just becomes so much Picross, and then like because spending so much time between story sections, that it just becomes
like if it's
harder to focus on the story basically.
Yeah, like Layton has that issue at times too, where it gets up its own ass about wanting you to do 20 puzzles in a row, and it's just like, dude.
Yeah.
I just want the story. Could you please give me a morsel of the story?
Yeah, there's so many parts in the 4th episode where it's just like, okay, time to scan for evidence, and then there's like 3 pieces of evidence in one area. It's just like puzzle. Oh my god, can we finally get to some more of the story part?
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. So yeah,
that's so much Picross, right?
It's so much Picross. It's like I really cannot. Either
you cannot with all this Picross.
It's just like I'm not sure the story ended up being good enough that I would recommend it if you're just going to mash through the Picross. Because realistically, I could have just put it on easy, which does do the whole. It just gives you an X. like I just to see what had happened, I put it on easy and then just swiped the mouse around the screen and it just filled out the entire puzzle in like 2 seconds.
Wow, that's
it
incredible.
It just does it for you at that point.
It's incredible.
It's just like, you got 300 errors, but
it's fine.
Here are the ones you got. It just draws the whole puzzle for you. So I'm like, well, that's not a game at that point, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing.
That's why when you talked about the error check where it immediately tells you when you make a mistake.
Yeah.
In my experience with these games, whether it's Sudoku or this or anything, most of the fun is in the tension of not being sure if you're going to if you got it right. And then when you get to the end and then it flashes, you did it. It feels really good because you're worried that when you think you're done, it's not going to say you're done. And you're like, oh shit, where did I fuck up? Oh no.
Yeah, like
that's what the fun part is to me.
Probably the most fun I had with the Procross was towards the end of episode 2 when it hadn't gotten into the 15 wide tiles yet, and just having that moment right at the end where it's like either realizing I fucked up and having to start the whole thing over. Sometimes I would erase like half of it and try to work my way through it. Like I was still engaging with it at that point. It was just like, okay, like there were several times where I had to just start a whole puzzle over because I had realized I'd fucked up and I didn't know where to start over from to recover. But then at the start of episode 3, I noticed something. Is that there's a little thing in the UI. There's a little thing in the UI that makes the game significantly easier. There's a tiny little hint when you get a row or column correctly. There's a little flash for like a second.
So
then I realize, oh no, I can just if I have a column that's like an 8 or something, I can just try every possibility by putting 8 in a row and then moving it down slowly. And I'm like, well, then there's no game again.
There's no game again, yeah.
Because now I can guess and have the game tell me I'm right.
Yeah.
So I started playing. This is where it gets really kind of depraved. I started playing the game in windowed mode and dragging that corner of the screen off screen.
Oh my god!
So that I couldn't see it anymore.
So you could have a pure experience.
No, man, you just get you some duct tape and put it on your screen. You're fine.
That would have been another option, is to just put a piece of cardboard in front of the screen.
Oh.
But then,
this is a little sad.
So episode 3, I got through mostly like without cheating. Like once I found a workaround to not look at the thing that tells you if you're right or not. And I did episode 3, and then by the end of episode 4, I was just like, so I have 2 monitors. One's the second one's the TV. Every time I was about to complete a row or column, I would look over at the TV.
God damn it!
To see if the thing would do the tell. Just because I was like, if this is wrong and I have to start this whole puzzle over, I'm fucking dropping this game.
We're done.
Yeah.
Done.
And then, like, the last couple puzzles in the main game got so complicated that's where it's like, well, now I'm just using the tell as part of the game.
Right, you have to at that point.
If every single row is like 1s and 2s, you can't even guess at that point.
No.
Because there's just so much bullshit.
Yeah, that's really stupid.
So, like, I like the game, I like the story, I've been completely broken by Picross.
Damn. He's done. Like, he can't. He just can't with all this Picross.
It's so much. So
Tengu is really excited.
Yeah, I was noticing Tengu in the chat is ready.
The craziest part is that there's bonus puzzles. I don't know why you would need to do bonus puzzles by the end of this.
Oh no.
God.
The other thing is that by the time I was
I'm doing a 15 by 15 Picross while we're talking about this because I just want to prove to myself that Picross is stupid and for babies. And it's a little tricky.
It's a little tricky.
A little tricky.
The other thing is that when
I want to prove that the whole thing hinges on it being stupid and for babies.
It's a fish at a 42-degree angle.
Yeah, I think that's part of the thing. Those later puzzles just started to look like nothing pretty consistently.
Oh yeah, I just never really think about the picture, really.
Yeah, I get you.
I mean, there were times where it's like, okay, I'm pretty sure it's drawing a circle or a curve here.
Yeah, you can make inferences once you know that.
You never want to guess, though, because then it's like, well, you're really fucked if you're wrong.
No.
Yeah.
The other thing,
you want to logic it out.
Once I was like 30 hours in and, doing the whole tab or like window the game.
Looking at it the other way, trying not to look.
What happened is that this became a game I play while watching VTuber videos.
Oh God, I can see why that would work. Yeah, so that makes sense.
When you say I played this game for 50 hours, it's more like I consumed a whole lot of VTuber content over vacation.
Time well spent.
Because it's like,
live in your bliss.
Gura did a 2-hour stream. Okay, let's open up Words for Murder by Numbers. Tab it over. Okay, get the video playing on the second screen.
Now let's hear about Meatloaf.
Yeah. Just living that bliss.
Yes. Extremely valid.
But then I got to the point where I was back at work and it's just like, I need to finish this fucking game so I can move on to something else.
I need it out of my life.
Because I don't drop games unless they're like terrible.
Unless it's offensive.
Yeah. So I finally was just like, took 2 hours. It's just like, I'm finishing this game. I just can't do these Picross puzzles entirely honestly anymore.
Oh.
But I still never actually lowered the difficulty. Like, I still did them as far as the game was concerned.
Yeah. As far as the game is concerned.
Well, if they're going to put a thing in there...
I know!
Tells you if you get a column right.
It's just the way you put it.
Which is just insane.
The way you put it cracked me up.
Well, because you can just lower the difficulty if you want.
Yeah, like let's get 300 errors and win.
Yeah. So I finished it and then started playing the new Ori game. I was just like,
Did you play Blind Forest? I can't remember.
I didn't really like Blind Forest, but the new one's doing it for me already.
Oh, weird.
Huh.
They have learned from Hollow Knight.
I remember Mitzi really loved the new one.
Wow, that's good. If you're going to take lessons from a video game, I would want it to be Hollow Knight.
Yeah. So, but that's for next time.
Okay.
Because I only played like 2 hours.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool. We still got a couple minutes, right?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I'll talk about one other thing.
You want to talk about your last thing?
I'll just talk about the last thing since we're still here. Unless Rhett's still got something he wants to talk about. Unless you want to talk more about P-Cross.
No, I don't think I'm ever going to talk about
I played one other game. It won't take me quite as long because it's not a super complicated game to talk about, but it's a game. It's the first game that I beat of the new year. I played a game called Super Crush KO.
Oh,
yeah. Super Crush KO. Really pretty. It's a combo-driven side-scrolling action platformer where you gotta rescue your pack cat from an alien invader who has invaded the planet for the sole purpose of kidnapping your cat. It's great. Good setup. It's a game where you punch and kick everything. You got a gun. You got a lot of special moves. And you get loads and loads of robots to punch into each other, and it feels super satisfying. So, it's like I said, this game's super straightforward. It's got a great look to it. It's got this soft pastel aesthetic going for it. I don't know whether the main character's kind of color design looks like it's pretty based on the trans flag to me. I don't know whether that's intentional or not, but that's kind of like the vibe I get from just looking at the colors and everything. I don't know whether it's just a happy accident and these are the colors we used or they're making a statement, but either way, the game's got a nice look to it. It's got cute dialogue and everything, and it's generally just trying to be Saturday morning cartoon funny, basically. So that's what you get sort of in this game's attitude. But it's like very straightforward in design. It feels so real simple and clean and concise, but it's also smooth and impactful and satisfying to control. And you could definitely feel that someone spent a lot of hours at 4 a.m. tweaking variables to the point to get this game to feeling the way that it should be. It feels that good. It's one of those games where you were, when you were in control and you were hitting things and jumping around, it immediately feels fantastic. It's one of those games where like all of your moves kind of chain satisfyingly into one another at just the right frame. So like the cancels, like everything cancels into everything else at the precise moment to feel like you're maybe getting away with something you shouldn't be getting away with. But it's built that way. Like it's built to make you feel like you're putting all of these moves together in these big ass combo chains because you're badass. The dodge, you've got this quick step dodge that lets you dodge through bullets, that lets you dodge behind enemies without taking a hit, things like that. It's got enough startup and iframes. Again, it feels like you're cheating, but the game's just designed around you having a lot of iframes and being able to move quickly from one enemy to the next to keep the chain going. And each stage just kind of plays out as like a string of smaller arena combat encounters that sort of incentivize you to make quick work of your targets, and like they continue like ramping up the difficulty by like the enemies getting more aggressive or the terrain gets a little harder to navigate between enemies, so it's kind of, you gotta like use your special moves to get around. So like use your drill move to like drill halfway across the screen so that you can get over and keep your combo gauge going, and fun shit like that, where like the whole idea of the game is to just bound from target to target as often as you can, trying to like stay completely clean, don't get hit, things like that. Just feels really good. It's just a damn good feeling one of these that just feels incredible. It's not a game that I expected to wow me and to feel as good as it did, but I 100%ed it anyway. I ended up playing this game probably 5 more hours than I think I normally would have, just because it feels so damn good. Like when you can like carry a combo for 4 minutes to the end of a stage, Jesus. It feels so good. But it's just like it feels like it's taking a lot of inspiration from like Treasure, especially with the way you can like bounce enemies into each other, and with just like every single move having just the right amount of hit stun to where you feel it, where there's just enough screen shake, when an enemy bounces off the side of the screen or into something else, where it's just like, they set out to make something that has a very tight feel to it that just feels good at all times. And like you can still play through this game just fine if you want to take your time with it, but I think that when you get in control, like the moment that you realize the kind of power you have, it immediately, your brain just kicks in and goes, no, I need to play this as flashy as possible. I need to chain. I need to make that. I need to keep that gauge setting at S. I need to keep my combo meter setting at S+ for as long as I possibly can. It just feels so good to play as fast as you absolutely can, to be as effective as you can at chaining things together, dodging through attacks. Like, it's just, like, this game's got a feel to it that is...
It fucking rules.
Yeah, like it's all about game feel here. First, just plain and simple, you pick it up, within a minute, I guarantee you're going to be like, oh, okay, this feels real fucking good, and you're going to want to play it as quickly as possible, and as effectively as possible. That's just it. That's Super Crush KO in a nutshell. It's just a game that I'm super excited about. I like it a lot. It was just a super fun way to kind of get back into playing video games again, because like Red had mentioned, I hadn't played anything for like a month. So I just like playing this, like immediately like, all right, yep, this is the dopamine hit that I needed, and this is why video games are really cool.
And we all needed.
Yeah, this is why video games feel good. This is why I like playing them. It's games like Super Crush KO that just are such a finely tuned vision of what they want to be, and the mechanics are just absolutely perfect for what they are trying to make. Like, I don't have many complaints about this game at all, other than maybe the boss encounters are a little but for me it's more about chaining those stages for as long as I can and just seeing like if I can chain through every obstacle in a stage and carry that combo counter all the way to the end. And that's just super satisfying. Definitely give this a look. If you haven't. I think it's on Switch and on PC. It's Super Crush KO. It's got it's stylish as a motherfucker. You'll like it. I guarantee it. I don't guarantee it. I'm not giving anybody money back if they pay for a game and don't like it. I had somebody get mad at me once for that. They stopped talking to me entirely because I didn't tell.
Oh my god!
I didn't tell them. Like, this is back when Transistor came out, and they bought Transistor based on the fact that I was hyped for Transistor. It was like, and I played through Transistor in like 2 days, and I didn't like it. And I didn't say anything about it. Like, I hadn't said it. I hadn't talked to them. So I get, they send me a message on Steam literally like a day or two after that. Why didn't you tell me it was bad? And then unfriended me. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Holy shit.
They unfriended me there. They unfriended me on PSO too. It was real like, Jesus Christ. You are a touchy motherfucker. And that's my...
They really got mad about that.
They got super mad. Weird. Like, it was my responsibility. Like, I can't be excited for a video game and then be disappointed by it. Jesus Christ, my dude. You could have just waited and then asked me after I played it. And I don't know why we transitioned to there, but that's my weird... that's my internet weirdo story of the day.
God.
All right, so I think that's gonna be a podcast. What do y'all say? You all got anything else you want to talk about before we kick ourselves out of here?
I did a 15 by 15 Picross. It was a baby easy puzzle for babies. It was mostly small numbers. There's 1, 12. But that,
wait, there's a 7, 7, 8 in here. This is an easy one.
Oh, okay, but it was still a baby easy puzzle for babies.
I swear the ones towards the end of Murder by Numbers are like. The biggest you'll see is like a single 5. It's rough. There's a fucking 12 in this one. Come on.
Rhett is calling your ass out.
Nobody ever does hard ones. I should play Murder by Numbers so I can get...
There you go. Play Murder by Numbers. John will do a complete about face with regards to his view on Picross.
I'll play for 40 hours, and then I'll get to a Picross that's really hard, and then I won't be able to solve it, and then I'll be like, I was the dumb baby all the time. And then I'll be sad, and that'll be it.
All right. I think that is going to do it for your pals here at the Sockscast, but we are more than happy to be back with you again in this new year, getting things going again. John Thayer, could you be a dear and let the internet folks at home know where they can find you?
Farawaytimes.itch.io. I hope you don't feel bad about me doing a Picross while y'all were talking. I promise it did not use very much brain power, and I was fully engaged in the conversation. Please don't feel offended.
Rhett, where can the internet find you?
I play it because it's a thing that's fun to... I don't play Picross because it's hard. I play it because it's a thing that's fun to do and waste some time. Oh, well, if you just want to kill time on this earth, go play a Picross, says Tengu, #1 Picross fan. It'll get you one step closer to death.
I'm looking to waste some breath and some time.
I want to erase some of my precious moments on this planet.
I want to look back at my legacy on this planet and say, that moment right there.
I want to look at the clock and have it say one time, and then look at it a little bit later and have it say a different time, and I'll know that it.
I can't believe you were dunking on this like we didn't just have the worst year ever. If there was any way I could make 2020 shorter, I took it.
Woo! Thank you. I'm completely kidding. It's very much okay to enjoy Picross. I just hate it because my ex-wife really liked it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it all fucking comes out. It all fucking comes out. Oh my God, John, I swear. I knew there had to be something here. I knew there had to be something under that blanket. And God damn it, it was the ugliest thing I could have imagined.
Aww.
Holy shit, Rhett, where can the internet find you?
Does Flash work anymore?
I
have a website, but it's like busted as fuck right now.
Dead now. I still have Flash. It still works for me, damn it. It still works for me. Yeah, poor Rhett. Like you are now a relic of the past with your all Flash site. It's so stupid.
I mean, somebody made a Flash emulator. I tried installing it though, and it's complicated to do on a web server.
Right, I imagine so.
But like, it does seem to work really well.
Well, that's you know what? That's good. That's good. Somebody's got to present. Like, we can't lose this fucking history of shit. Like, come on.
It's kind of crazy. Like, if you go on Newgrounds now, I think, like, press space to win will just run in an emulator in browser.
That's good. That's really good.
And Hunter stages 1 through 5, but not 6.
Oh, no!
Yeah. Let me see if 6 works right now.
Yeah, I immediately checked. Zelas mentions Blue Maxima's Flashpoint, which I immediately checked for, like, all of Red's games.
Yeah, 6 is still working in Flash, but the other 5 are in. Anyways.
Yeah.
The emulator. Huh.
You can find Red on Newgrounds. He was there a whole lot from like 99 to 2014.
God. You can look up all of his old comments. Especially the comments on reviews of this game.
Oh my God, somebody...
Oh no.
Oh, I don't think it'll be... This is
say
really...
Say it.
I'm looking for it though. Somebody like reviewed... Yeah, okay. Somebody reacted to a review I wrote November 4th, 2000.
Oh my God. 20 years ago!
The person's user account says that they are 14 years old.
Oh my God.
Oh!
So they were not born for 6 years after I made that comment, and they waited 14 more years to react to it. And put a smiley face there.
I can feel myself dying.
I saw somebody said today, like, if you were born in the 1900s, you're old now, because people that are born 2000 will be able to drive or drink this year.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
I watch y'all suffer, and I just know that it's coming for me too.
I could, yeah. Like every time I'm reminded, I start to feel the decomposition in real time, and it's a tragedy. Let me tell you. And you can find me at
3 years from 30, y'all.
And you can find me in your nearest.
I'm on the way out.
Let me close it. And you can find me in your nearest snack aisle trying to buy Doritos 3Ds. And remember, we are the podcast that loves you. We are the only ones that love you. And that's a show! Oh my God.
God, ending with the age thing was funny because my birthday's next week.
Yeah, I was about to say. It's like literally 2 days from now. Oh God! Let's see who's streaming so I can get this. I need to stop thinking about the last 2 minutes of this episode.
Aw.
Thanks, Rhett. Appreciate it. You did it. You did it. Okay, who's streaming? Virus.
Boy, I would send you a VTuber, but none are actually streaming that I follow right now.
Virus is streaming. He's streaming Gimmick. He's learning Gimmick. That game's pretty good. That's a very good video game.
I said VTuber, though.
Yeah, whatever.
I can't be like Crone is streaming right now. Yeah. She's playing 12 hours of R-Type.
That was incredible.
That's so funny.
She played 12 hours
of the exact same thing.
She played 12 hours of R-Type, and for 8 of those hours was stuck at one checkpoint.
Yeah.
And I told Rhett, look, if people were giving me $50 every couple minutes, I'll sit there at a fucking checkpoint in R-Type for 8 hours.
I want to be sarcastic, but I loaded it up, and like at the moment I'm at 4 hours into the video, somebody gave her a 10,000 yen tip, which is like $100.
Yeah, like, so let me tell you, like, you can get me to do that if somebody was giving me that kind of money too. Yeah, there's a reason she's very happy to stream 12 hours at a time and be very bad at video games, Rhett.
It's not really for the love of the thing,
it's not for the love of the game, Rhett. Let me tell you. All right, I'm sending everybody over to Virus Returns.
Go ahead.
He is learning Gimmick. Go watch that instead. Goodbye.